sports. It's in the game.
Good morning. Yep, Uncle Lou here. Yeah, that's right. It's me, Uncle Lou, live for you on LouTube today. Yeah, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. We're going to stream some NCAA football 2014 on the Xbox 360 with updated 2017 roster, so it'll have all the current players. Most of you guys have watched these streams before, so you know the deal there. Georgia versus Alabama will do the national title game. Can y'all hear me okay? Just let me know in the comment section if y'all can hear me okay. It sounds good on my end, but I like to check with y'all too, so let me know. Let's see. What's up, Evan, Spencer, Jack, Jason, Mike, Cletus, good morning. Matthew, Noah, Tomahawk, Steven, Spencer, Eddie, good morning. Yeah. All right, where's the Gumps at? There the Gumps is. I'm gonna play as Georgia today, and we'll do another stream. I don't know, tomorrow night or the night after or whatever. We'll figure it out. And either we'll do the same game and I'll play as Alabama, or there's another game you guys want to see. We'll see. Alabama's a 99 overall in this game with a 97 offense and a 99 defense. So they definitely have the edge here against Georgia. 95 overall, 93 offense, 95 defense. So we'll see how it goes. What's up, B. Currington, Jonathan, Matt from Gainesville, good morning. William Hunt, Phillip, Zach Vaughn, Baker Mayfield says he's still crying. You'll get over it, sir. Don't worry. I'm sure you'll be probably the 4th or 5th quarterback taken. Yes, I know you won the Heisman, but you're not the best quarterback in college football, especially when you project that to the NFL level. You're just not. Yeah, you have an attitude problem. But I have a feeling, though, you could probably be a star in the Canadian Football League. So I don't know if that's something you've considered or not. Maybe something you want to look into, Mr. Mayfield. Hey, Blake, good morning. Squid Tard, good morning. Squid Tard, that last one you made was the best one you've ever made. And I know you like to do the funny stuff, like with me breaking the TVs and some of the funny stuff I yell and stuff like that. But there's about 3 or 4 minutes in the middle of that video you made that is a really, really good work. The whole part basically from winning the SEC championship game up until the end of the Rose Bowl. I mean, you picked perfect music, that dramatic music. You know, it's sad during the sad parts, and then it ramps up during the good parts where Georgia's coming back and forth in the 4th quarter and overtime of that Rose Bowl game. That was really good work, sir. Hats off to you on that one, Squid Tard. Georgia Dome. That's Georgia State, though. We'll have to find the Peach Bowl. They don't have Mercedes-Benz Stadium on here for those of you that are new, but they do have the Georgia Dome Peach Bowl setup type field, so that'll be what we'll have to go with here. That's the closest thing we can get to the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta. Let's see. Alamo Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Cotton Bowl, Liberty Bowl. Where's the Peach Bowl? Right here. So we'll have to just choose this stadium here. Hey, Grant, good morning. David Murphy, good morning. Mr. Reddy, good morning. Sean Rigdon, thank you, sir. Congratulating me on the win. Thank you. Big win for Georgia. No doubt about it. Big win for Georgia. Biggest win since at least 1981 or 82. Maybe even 1980. We've been in a game like that recently. I think 2012 really was the same as the Rose Bowl in terms of what it meant. If we would have won that game in 2012, the SEC championship game against Alabama, that was basically a playoff game. Whoever won that game was making the national title game against Notre Dame. It came down to the wire, and Georgia came up short. Fast forward 5 years later to now, out at the Rose Bowl instead of the SEC championship, and another classic game. And fortunately for UGA fans, and yours truly, Uncle Lou, yeah, Georgia went ahead and came out a winner this time. I'm playing on All-American. I'm not going to play on Heisman. I'm not very good at this game. Something that some of you that watch love to continue to point out, which is fine. But I'm not very good at this game. I don't play these games competitively, really. I really just do these games to give me a reason to sit out here and talk football with you guys a few nights a week. So that's really the idea. But I figure as long as there's actual games going on, we might as well be simulating the games that are being played. So that's why we did all those bowl games over the last month and doing the national title game now. But I do this all during the offseason too. So if you're here now, you don't have to run off after next Monday when the playing season ends. College football is year-round as far as I'm concerned. We've got signing day coming up the first week in February, so I'll have plenty of videos leading up to that the last couple of weeks of January. After signing day, you're only about 6 weeks away from the start of spring practice at a lot of schools. So we'll cover that. And you guys know I don't just talk UGA. I'll cover all the big teams, all the SEC teams, all the big teams. Don't run off when the last game has been. We do a lot of these simulations during the off season, and I let you guys in the comments section pick a lot of the games that I play, what team I play as, and things like that. So we'll have a lot of fun in the off season, even though there won't be any games to react to or losses to laugh at. There's plenty to do and plenty to see on the Uncle Lou channel. So don't run off when the season ends. Tennessee Vols, Uncle Lou, do you want money? Well, everybody wants money, don't they? All right, Georgia's kicking off first. That's the way I like it. This is how superstitious I am. That actually made me nervous at the Rose Bowl. We've kicked off to start almost every game this year, and when we win the toss, we always defer. And Kirby Smart and UJ likes it that way. And Oklahoma actually won the toss at the Rose Bowl, and they deferred. So we had to get the ball first, and that made me nervous. Well, this guy running this kickoff back for a touchdown makes me nervous too. Just another one of my superstitions there, I guess. Luke says Auburn really screwed up. Yeah, they probably deserve their own video this week for really crapping a bet against Central Florida. But I mean, I guess there'll be time to do that after the national title game or whatever. But that was just embarrassing. And, of course, Auburn fans, I mean, it's predictable, right? Anytime a big-name school loses one of these, bowl games that doesn't really mean anything to a low-level team, like UCF, it's the same excuse every time. Well, Auburn didn't care about that game. Auburn didn't really want to be there, so they didn't really prepare or try. It's the same excuse. And honestly, there's probably a little bit of, look at Jalen Hurts running folks over. There's probably a little bit of truth to that, but that doesn't lessen the embarrassment of losing to UCF. And I guess UCF is claiming themselves national champions now. And a few people have asked me about that today. Do a video, set Central Florida straight, let them know they're not the national champions. I'm most likely not going to be doing that. Everybody with any sense knows that Central Florida is not the national champion. I don't want to make a video, though, where I'm ragging on UCF or whatever, because it's a good story. I mean, you know, it's hard to go undefeated in college football at in football at any level, really. And I don't want to make a video where it seems like I'm dogging UCF or something like that. I think they're a pretty good team. Do I think they could win any of the Power 5 conferences, much less the national title, if they were in a playoff? No, I don't. But they had a great year, and when you're a team like that, I mean, you know going in, when you're a non-Power 5 team, if you go undefeated, you're guaranteed one of those New Year's Six Bowls, and that's it. I mean, you know you're not getting into the playoffs. So it's a little unfair of them now, I think, to act disappointed that they didn't get an invite, or to act like they should have been in the playoffs because they beat Auburn. I just don't see it that way. I think they're probably a legitimate top 10 or top 15 team. And it's easier to beat Auburn with a month to prepare than it is to beat Auburn one week and then Texas A&M the next week and then LSU the following week and then Alabama the week after that and then South Carolina and then Georgia. You know, that's the difference. So I don't want to do a video and knock UCF, but by no means are they the national champion or the best team in college football. I mean, they're just not. But they had a great year, an amazing year, and I don't want to take anything away from them. 18 playoff. If you ever go to an 18 playoff, then a team like UCF this year would have gotten in. You would have had the 4 conference winners, then the 3 next highest ranked teams. That would have given you 7, and then UCF, and that would have been what happened. I don't know that that's going to be happening anytime soon. A lot of people think that because the SEC has 2 teams in the national title game this year, that it's going to cause some sort of major change, like what happened in 2011 when Alabama and LSU both made the BCS title game. I don't necessarily think that's true. Most people agree at this point that Georgia and Alabama are the 2 best teams. I feel like it's been proven on the field. There's some arguments being made that maybe Ohio State should have got in, and especially after they waxed who'd they play in the playoff game? I'm drawing a blank now on who Ohio State played in their in their bowl game. But who'd they play? Home in the regular season and lost. So even if you want to pretend they lost 24-20 or something, they gave up 55 points and lost by like 30 something, right? So I don't even think the Iowa loss was a fluke. But still, they lost at home. They came up short against Georgia. So it's going to be hard to convince anybody right now that Ohio State is better than Georgia. Now, I guess if Georgia comes out and beats Alabama by 4 touchdowns, I guess maybe you could say, see, Alabama shouldn't have been in. But Alabama just destroyed Clemson, which everyone agreed deserved the number 1 ranking that they had. It was pretty much a consensus that Clemson was the number 1 team, and Alabama just dismantled them. So I just don't really understand how you can make an argument at this point that Alabama and Georgia aren't the 2 best teams. That was a nice catch. Nice throw, too, to be honest.
Held the linebackers there by the fake by the running back, and the running back did a very nice job of carrying out his fake.
To beat a top 4 team, I'll take it. If you want to call that a miracle, I'll take it. I don't know. Is that supposed to be some kind of an insult? Oklahoma scored 1 offensive touchdown in the second half. So that seems to me to be a little bit less of a miracle and more of just Georgia domination in the second half. Oklahoma dominated the first half. Georgia dominated the second half, and we were all tied up at the end of regulation. We went to overtime. Each team has the same opportunities to score in overtime. One team got it done and one team didn't. I'm not sure that classifies as a miracle. A miracle is more like what happened when Tennessee beat UGA 2 seasons ago in Athens with a 55-yard Hail Mary with 1 second to go on the clock. I mean, that's what people typically consider to be a miracle, right? Or Auburn returning a missed field goal 109 yards for a touchdown as time expires to beat Alabama. People, that's more like what's considered to be a miracle. Dominating the #1 offense in America for an entire half of football, holding them to one touchdown. I'm not sure that classifies as a miracle, sir. But, the hate parade is strong and long right now when it comes to UGA. So I'm not sure if you're just on the hate parade, if you're the Grand Marshal, or what. But, there's always room for haters. I mean, so it's just fuel to the fire, sir. So keep it coming by all means. Keep up the good work. Yeah, somebody says there would only be more debate with 8 teams. The thing is, you're never going to get rid of the debate. And to be honest, do y'all really want to get rid of the debate? Really? You really want to get rid of the debate that surrounds college football every year? That's one of the best parts about college football. That's one of the things that separates college football from other sports, and the NFL in particular. I mean, there's only 32 teams in the NFL. It's very easy to split that up into 2 conferences, 16 teams. You split the 2 conferences up into divisions. You have the divisions, people in the division play each other twice, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's real easy to whittle 32 down to 12 and run a playoff, There's 130 Division I college teams. So there's just no way to take an NFL approach, and because of that, you're always going to have this debate and this second guessing, whether it's 4 teams and the team that's 5th is crying, or whether it's 8 teams and the team that's 9th is crying. You're always going to have that. But at some point, it gets to where you have to decide whether you want the regular season to matter or not. I mean, to a certain degree, every week in college football is a playoff game. And it's not necessarily a lose or go home type situation in week 2 or 3, but there's been plenty of years where a loss in week 4, 5, or 6 has kept a team out of a national title game or a playoff appearance. I'm too much talking to y'all and not enough playing football here. So I don't know. I mean, we had the BCS for almost 20 years almost. We finally get a playoff. 4 teams, but hey, at least it's a playoff, and we're only 3 or 4 years in, and people are already complaining and wanting, 6 teams or 8 teams or 10 or whatever they want. I'm happy with the 4 for now, and we can revisit it 5 or 10 years down the road, but I don't think 3 or 4 years of a 4-team playoff is really enough to say, well, this isn't working.
Play calling there by the coaching staff. It's way too early in the game to be.
What do I think about Logan Paul? That really pisses me off, to be honest about it. Now, I have to admit that I've never watched Logan Paul before until this last couple of days with this big controversy that blew up around him. But it was completely irresponsible what he did. I mean, people knock me sometimes and they say, well, you just act that way for views, or you only did this. I get accused of all kinds of crazy. 100,000 people watched me live stream the end of the Georgia-Oklahoma game in real time, live on YouTube. And scroll through the comments. There's people in there saying, this is a great reenactment. This guy's acting. He filmed this. He had this DVR'd and filmed this after the game. Anyway, I'm getting off subject now. But you have to you have to understand who's watching you and the types of things that. Now, you can say I've got on here and acted like an idiot, done some dumb things. I can't believe he did that, or I can't believe he said that, or whatever. But I've never done anything that could or would cause someone to get hurt or to want to hurt themselves. I certainly would never film a dead body that I found anywhere and then think it was a good idea to upload that to YouTube. And, you know, I saw his apology video or whatever, and where he's claiming that he only did it to bring awareness to suicide prevention, and that's just BS. I saw the original video that he loaded, and he's laughing and making jokes, literally standing right next to a dead body hanging from a tree. Suicide prevention was the last thing on his mind when he was filming that. The guy's a millionaire. He could fart in a cup and 5 million people would watch it on YouTube. He's making more money, obviously, than he knows what to do with. So he ought to be able to afford some sort of PR team or somebody that can be around him and tell him, hey, maybe this isn't such a good idea. Whether it's while it's going on, or even if it's after the fact during post-production or editing, or whatever team of people he has helping him with that. Apparently no one along the way either had the balls or the brains to tell him, hey, maybe this isn't such a good idea to upload to YouTube. And so I just think it was wrong to do. I think it was irresponsible in a lot of ways. And then on top of everything else, now this isn't nearly as important, but geez, I can't get a pass off against these guys. I mean, he's most likely going to cause another advertising controversy on YouTube, which I didn't talk about the last one because, I mean, let's just be honest. People who only watch YouTube and don't have a channel or aren't content creators, they don't care. I know y'all don't care about the inside goings-ons or whatever of YouTube and how that works with ad revenue and all that. So I don't get on here and bore you guys with that. But since y'all are asking about the Logan Paul thing, it's going to cause another issue. With about 6 months ago or so, a bunch of advertisers, huge advertisers, Coca-Cola, I mean big name people, pulled all their advertising off of YouTube because they found out that there was no filter or whatever to determine which videos their ads were being placed on. So for example, you could have some idiot get on camera, go on some racist rant against blacks or whites or Mexicans or Jewish people, whatever. And if his channel was monetized, all he had to do was click the monetize button, and a Coca-Cola ad, in theory, could play right before his video plays of him going on a racist rant against whatever group of people. And something like that happened, and a bunch of advertisers all pulled their ads off of YouTube. And it was just a big mess. And YouTube's answer or whatever, or way of fixing that, is basically what YouTube does now is they demonetize every single video you upload. And then they review it after the fact. And if they deem it suitable for advertising, then they'll slap an ad on it, right? Well, of course, you guys know the problem with that before I even say it. Most people who watch YouTube videos watch them within the first day or two that they're uploaded, right? So if someone uploads a video and 5,000 people, 10,000 people, or 1 million people watch it in the first day or two, and then YouTube approves it 2 days later for ads, well, you just missed out on all that ad revenue for that 5,000 or 10,000 or 10 million or however many views it was. So it pissed a lot of people off. And anyway, so when you get one of the biggest YouTubers on planet Earth, this Logan Paul guy, to go out and do what he did, it's not helping that situation any. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if we end up having something like what we had 6 months ago, where you have the advertisers just completely pull out. Again, thank you, Mad Dog. I appreciate that. UNCLELOU for Heisman. What position, though? I'm on the Georgia team in this game, but I'm the third string quarterback. Should I start paying attention to this game some or what? If nobody knows what I'm talking about with the Logan Paul thing and you want to know more about it, just go to YouTube and do a search for Logan Paul, and you'll find out all about it.
Sends it sailing downfield. He's to the 10.
This hardhead ran it out from 9 yards deep in the end zone, didn't he? Yeah, David, Lou would play cornerback. It looks like in high school. That is what I played. I played corner in high school.
Leads the offense back out onto the field as we get set to resume play. Gets it out quickly. They'll bring it down.
Best play we've had in a while.
Man, that is a great call in a big game, especially on an early down.
Yeah, it is a double standard, and the worst thing about it is people who did nothing wrong were punished. I mean, it was a blanket policy that YouTube pushed out. And they didn't even tell anybody what was going on. Like, they didn't, I'm a nobody on YouTube. I have 5,000 subscribers or whatever it is. But there's people with millions of subscribers, and they treated them all the same. They didn't tell them anything, nothing. All of a sudden, just all your ads were gone. And then a couple of weeks later, they sent an email out or something like that. I mean, it was just a mess. Here we go now.
He's pushed out of bounds at the 46. From the 46-yard line, it's first down.
I mean, you have people that make a living and support their family off of their YouTube revenue, right? And basically, their income got cut overnight, 60, 70% in some cases, through no fault of their own. You know, it's like wherever you work. Let's say you make $1,000 a week wherever you work, right? And you work day shift. And some idiot on night shift does something wrong. They don't tell you anything. They don't tell you what happened. They don't tell you why or anything. They tell you nothing. But the next time you go to get your check, instead of it being for $1,000, it's for $400. And when you ask why, no one answers you. They won't tell you why. They won't tell you when the pay is going back to $1,000. They won't tell you why your pay got cut 60%. I knew that was, as soon as I threw that ball, I knew that was intercepted. So people like me who only have 4,000 or 5,000 subscribers or whatever, it wasn't that big of a deal because you're not making anything to start with. But you got people who really do YouTube for a living, you know, that make, God knows how much money they make, and it just got taken away overnight through no fault of their own. And something like that is about to happen again, probably because of this Logan Paul situation.
Quick throw, and he shoved out of bounds at about
Yeah, he stepped out.
37-yard line.
I haven't seen the new SEC shorts. What's it about? I mean, I guess it has something to do with the title game, right? But I haven't seen I haven't seen it. Yeah, gotta throw that away.
Even though they didn't didn't sack him. The pressure was still enough.
I got to start paying attention to this game or it's going to get ugly. Uglier.
Then the quarterback is going to have a tougher time getting the ball to his playmakers.
It's 2nd and 10. Ball on the 37. Now he tries to
Get him.
They
Nice.
bring the quarterback down.
The protection broke down.
What was that, Ledbetter? Yeah, that was Ledbetter.
And they brought the quarterback down. Nice play.
There you go, Roquan. Nice. Needed that. 44 seconds. If I could score before the half here, and then I think didn't I kick off first? So then I would get the ball to start the third quarter. If I can score before the half here, then we might be in business. We'll see. We'll see if we can get something going. We got all 3 timeouts, so really I can run any play.
From their own 46-yard line. First down. Tackle at the 49.
Yeah.
The back gets 3 on the carry.
And he's brought down there by the senior at linebacker. That won't be the last time today we'll be talking about this young man.
Come on, Jake. Snap the damn ball, son.
Toss right. Tries to get around the corner. He's knocked out of bounds.
At least he got out of bounds.
38-yard line.
3 yards, not going to cut it, though.
So it's 3rd down now, and they're going to need a
All right, let's see if we can do something here.
man wide open.
Miko, come on, dude. You know what? Screw it. I'm running the same damn play. And he better catch the damn thing this time either, or he might find his ass on a train back to Elbert County. There you go, buddy. Was that so hard, dude? Timeout.
We'll take a timeout. That's their
All right,
first of the
13
half.
seconds.
Isn't even the best
He was open. He'd still be running if he'd have caught that first one.
really getting better at running his routes.
Damn.
Which is a truly underrated quality these days.
It's 1st and 10. Ball on the 40.
Okay, Billy, I got you. You emailed it to me. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I'll watch it. I'll try to watch it after the stream. If not, I'll watch it tomorrow.
He's rolling right. And he's going to come up with a
Well, that was just retarded.
Gonna call their 2nd timeout.
I'm gonna end up not even getting anywhere near a field goal now.
Defense looking for another sack in this 2nd down and long situation.
My TV is back. Run.
Tries to
Well,
fit in
that's
there
a
a
perfect
little
way to
intercept.
end the half.
And he is drilled at the
That's par for the
46-yard line.
course. What a terrible first half for Georgia. For me.
So at the end of the half, Alabama leads.
Talk about Jake Paul. That's Logan Paul's brother. I only know that because of watching these Logan Paul videos the last day or two about this suicide thing. So I can't talk about Jake Paul. I haven't watched any of his videos. Literally all I did, there was a bunch of videos about this in the YouTube trending section. So I watched one by PewDiePie, one by Boogie2988, and one by Michael from over at the Angry Grandpa channel. Y'all know who I'm talking about, kid behind the camera. And so I watched those 3 videos, and I was like, well, what is it they're talking about with this Logan Paul guy? So I went to Logan Paul's channel. Well, the suicide video was gone, but he had an apology video posted. I watched the apology video, and then I read some articles and watched a few other YouTube videos about what he had done, and what a moron. It seems to me like a maturity issue. Like, the guy obviously has got way more money at this point thanks to YouTube than he does since. And he clearly wasn't thinking when he uploaded that video. I mean, I just don't, under no circumstances is what he did a good idea. I just don't, I mean, and I don't buy at all the whole suicide prevention thing. I just don't buy it. He did it for views and for reaction. That was it. And the sad part is, like I said before, the guy can fart in a cup and get 2 million views. He's not hurting for views. So all he really did by uploading that video was hurt everybody else that has a YouTube channel, because YouTube's going to end up cracking down again on the ad thing because this moron didn't have a regular video a day. It's clearly against their terms and regulations. If YouTube wanted to, they could take the guy's channel away. They're obviously not going to do that because he makes a ton of money for YouTube. So they're just not going to do that. Now, if I did that, this channel would be shut down in a heartbeat. It would be gone. You just would wake up, you would click on Uncle Lou, there'd be a video where I was showing off a dead body, and then 10 minutes later you'd click back to Uncle Lou and the channel would just be gone. But because this guy's channel is so big, he makes a ton of money for YouTube, so they're not going to do that. And it's not right, but it's reality.
So it's second down now. They need about 4 yards to pick up the first.
What is a must-have for my Georgia cave? I'm going to tell you what I think is the coolest thing that I have that anybody can get. Now, some of this stuff, you know, a Herschel Walker jersey that's hard to get, an autographed Champ Bailey helmet, you know, but that hover helmet that I have, and I'm sure most of you have seen it, but that hover helmet is really cool, and they're easy to get. They have a website. I believe it's hoverhelmets.com. Amazon sells them. But if you just Google hover helmet, and it's not very expensive. I think they're about $80. And it's awesome. It lights up. It spins. In fact, I need to, ever since I rearranged, I have not put that thing out. I haven't put it back out since I rearranged and redecorated in here. What did I didn't snap the ball in time, probably. Yeah. So maybe tomorrow I'll do that, and I'll try to show it on tomorrow's video. So Mad Dog, if you don't know what I'm talking about with that hover helmet, I mean, you can look it up and find it, but I'll try to get it set up tomorrow before I film and include it somehow in tomorrow's video so you can see it. But those things are really, really cool. They light up. They spin around. Those things are really cool.
So we'll have 1st and 15 after the penalty.
And you need something soft to throw. Oh God, Jesus! We didn't block a single soul on that play. I broke a lot of remote controls and a lot of TVs in my younger years, because I used to always hold on to the remote control when Georgia was playing, and it took me years to learn, well, why don't you just grab something soft? So I have like this little, it's like a stuffed animal, but it's a Georgia football, you know, and it's got the stuffing in it, and I hold on to that now. So if I need to throw something, I can throw that, and the odds of it breaking anything are slim to none. There's another drop for Mecole Hardman. That's it. I'm just not throwing it to you anymore. He's fast as hell in this game, and he always gets open on those crossing routes. But Jesus Christ, son, if you can't catch the damn ball, then, I mean, fool me once. What is it? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me again, pack your shit and go back to Elbert County or whatever it is. 4th and 3. I got to go for it. I don't know why I'm acting like it's a decision. I've gone for it on every single 4th down. Let's see what we can come up with here now. See if this works. How am I playing this game? Is it for sale? This is NCAA 2014, but it's completely no blocking at all. It's completely updated rosters. So these are, every team has the 2017 rosters. But as far as the game, it's NCAA, it's EA Sports NCAA Football 2014 on the Xbox 360. They also make the game for the PS3. And then within the menu of the game, there's a roster management section. And within that roster management section, there is a place where you can download rosters. Now, you have to know the name of a certain roster that you're looking to download. Oh, they fumbled in Roquan. That's Johnny on the spot there. So you have to know the name of the roster that you're downloading. For Xbox 360, for the 2017 rosters, the best one that I've found is Derrick Sun, DERICKSUN, all lowercase. And what it is it's a group of guys every summer, starting around the end of the spring games. They go through team by team and completely update every single roster. So is it 100% perfect? Not all the time. But it usually is. Here's Isaac Nauta. He's a white guy. Linemen will be fat. They do a good job on it. They try their best to get the stats as close to real life as they can. Now, they don't update them all throughout the year. So, like in Georgia's case, I had to substitute in Jake Fromm ahead of Jacob Eason to make him the starter, right? So my quarterback in this game would actually be better in this game if I played with Jacob Eason, because his stats are higher than Jake Fromm's stats are in this game because they're not constantly updated, right? And when this, like I said, these guys that put this list together, they had no idea Eason was going to get hurt or how good Fromm was or wasn't going to be or whatever. So his stats aren't very high in this game compared to some of the other starters, but since he's a starter for UJ, that's who I play as. But those guys do a really good job. So Derrick Sun, DERICKSUN, that's for the Xbox 360. I'm not sure if that works for the PlayStation 3, but I'm sure you could Google it and find a workable roster for the PS3 that had the 2017 rosters for you. But you cannot play this game on the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4, so you have to have an old working 360 or PlayStation 3, and you have to have the game. And bad news, if you don't already own this game, NCAA 2014, it's probably the most expensive video game you'll find anywhere right now. This thing sells on eBay and Amazon all the time for $130, $140, $150. This game does, because it's because they quit making it, and this is the most recent one. It's just everybody and their brother wants it, and there's every year that goes by, there's less and less available as more break or get lost or whatever the case may be. So this is one of those games that the price just keeps getting higher and higher and higher every single year on it. If you get lucky, you might find one on eBay or Amazon for $50 or $60 or something. But generally speaking, when you find this game on Amazon or eBay, you're looking at over $100.
First down, and they've got their eyes on that goal line.
All right, first and goal. This is a must-score situation here. Well, you just ain't breaking no tackles on this Alabama defense.
14-0, Crimson Tide.
You can't really run wide on them. They're too fast. You just got to hope for a crease. It's definitely worth it. I mean, if you like those old college football games, I mean, it don't get no better than this. Now, let me take that back. I actually like the 2013 version of this game better than this version, which is the 2014 version. The problem is nobody makes the updated rosters anymore for that 2013 version of this game. So I actually had to go out and buy the 2014 version just so I could keep getting the updated rosters for it. But this is about the only game I play anymore now. Oh, he got that virtual reality thing for the PlayStation 4 for Christmas. That thing is really cool. If any of you guys are gamers or whatever and have thought about maybe getting that or whatever, it's pretty cool. Especially like the scary games, like the horror games or whatever. I mean, y'all know what that virtual reality thing is, right? You put it on, I mean, you can't see anything. And I mean, you turn your head and you're looking around in this world and then it goes dark. I mean, it's really, really cool. But anyway, this is about the only video game I ever play. I've got, or Lou Jr. has, Madden 18, whatever the new one is, for the PS4, I think. And I play that every once in a while. But this is really the only game I ever play. And the only time I play it is when I stream it for you guys. It's not like I sit around and play this game any other time. But I used to play video games a lot when I was younger, but that sort of went away when I had kids. Just don't have time like you used to.
The offense comes back out, and as I'm sure you'll remember, their last possession ended in a lost fumble.
Anytime you give the ball away, it's a disappointment. So these guys want to show that they can hang on to it.
Wrap him up. I need to get the ball back here and see if I can't tie this thing up. Now, if I score, if I get the ball back and score, should I go for 2 or play for overtime?
They'll line up with 5 wide receivers. Just throws this one away.
Go Gators. Please talk about my comments. Well, I didn't see. Oh, I see. We will beat you next year. I mean, I doubt it. I can tell you right now you'll be an underdog in that game. That's not an Uncle Lou opinion. That's just the reality of the situation. You guys need to get your quarterback situation figured out before really you do anything else. What has it been, a decade since you've had a decent quarterback? Most of Muschamp's defensive players are gone. Your defense wasn't anything this year like it was the last couple of years. Your offense was the same as it was the last couple of years, which isn't a good thing. You got another new coach coming in, so even the players that are returning, the few of them that are any good, still have to learn a whole new scheme again this year, new terminology, new coaches, new relationships, all that kind of thing. You sign Emory Jones. I think Emory Jones has some talent and some ability, and I think that in the right situation or circumstances and at the right time at some point in the future, he may be a good quarterback. I don't think that's going to be next year, though. So you're probably staring down the barrel of another season of Del Rio or Franks or whatever other scrubs or bums you've got left over from the McElwain era. I seriously doubt Emory Jones is going to be your answer in year one. And people are going to say, well, Georgia's doing it with a freshman quarterback. Well, he's a pro-style pocket passing quarterback who can actually pass the ball. Emory Jones has got some work to do on his passing ability. I'm not knocking him. Like I said, I thought that was a pass play. All right, quit trolling me so I can try to tie this game up. Hey, Lou, are you going to Atlanta? No, I'm not a season ticket holder, so the only way for me to get tickets to the national title game would be to buy them secondhand off of StubHub or whatever. Not sure if you've looked, but, you know, to sit in the very top row of the Georgia Dome is about $2,500. I'm not interested in that. I've mentioned this a couple of times before. It's not that I don't like going to games or don't want to go to games, and I would love to go to this game. But the older I get, the more I enjoy sitting home on a Saturday and watching the game here. And not just the Georgia game. I can watch every game. You know, if I go to a game, yeah, that's great, but I miss all the other games. Yes, I'm a Georgia fan, so somebody's going to get on here and say, well, you're not a real fan. Yeah, I'm a Georgia fan, and I usually go to 1, sometimes 2 games a year. But the older I get, the more I enjoy staying home. I'm not going to lie about that, and I'm not going to apologize. for that. I enjoy getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays, having a couple of cups of coffee, watching College Game Day from 9 to 12, and then watching football from noon till 2 in the morning. And that's pretty much what I do every Saturday during football season. And then I'll sprinkle in this is my gesture for sprinkling. I'll sprinkle in a few videos on Saturdays too. But I mean, this, once in a lifetime. Georgia finally makes the national title game. It's an hour and a half away from where I live, so I would love to go, but it's just way too expensive.
On play action, he fires this one.
Now I'm wondering who that was thrown to now.
Got some pressure and forced a bad pass.
I think they've been a little bit more aggressive here with their pass rush, and that time it paid off with an incompletion.
Justin Fields will solve Florida's quarterback problem. I guess somebody doesn't know that Justin Fields is already signed with UGA. You're a little behind the times there, cuz.
So it's 2nd and 10. Ball on the
Yeah, and Matt Corral did sign with Ole Miss. That's right, Stick Pig. And Emory Jones signed with Florida.
That's a great tackle.
Not committed, signed. You can't undo that. So that's a done deal. Those people can't flip or decommit. They're actually signed.
Third down now. They need to get it down to the 33.
We need a first down here if we're going to tie this thing up. I missed the comments. If I score, should I go for the win or play for overtime? Ah!
Almost picked off.
Almost threw an interception. Oh, come on, Nada. We need a big catch from you here, sir. No, that was a terrible pass.
They had to go for it given the circumstances. They just couldn't pull it off.
A conversion there could have really.
You see what I mean?
Just wasn't to be.
My God, man. These gumps.
Both teams realize that when the ball is snapped, we're one play away from a very different ball game. And they make the stop around the 43-yard line.
I have to hope they don't get a first down, call a bunch of timeouts here. Not looking good, though. Somebody is hitting nail on head here. Oh, wait a minute, Baylor. Somebody put Baylor. Oh God, that caught me off guard. That's funny. They put Baylor ahead of Tennessee and Florida. That's not that. That's not that far fetched. So. Oh, Baylor. Yeah, we're gonna have some fun with that in the offseason. We're gonna play some games like Baylor. We'll have like a college football playoff of the worst 4 teams, right? Baylor, Kansas, Rutgers, and Tennessee. We'll do like a 4-team playoff of the 4 worst teams: Baylor, Kansas, Rutgers, and Tennessee. Right? Or is there someone else that needs to be in that group of 4?
Georgia's going to have to use their second time out of the half.
That would be funny. We'll do that for real in the offseason. Y'all help me remember that. That'll be so funny.
And down he goes at the 40. The running back gets 2 on the carry. The Bulldogs using their 3rd and final time.
We are out of time here, guys.
It's 3rd down, and they're about 2 yards shy of the sticks. They're trying to stop the run here with a goal line defense.
Jesus, that's it. Game over.
The defense has got to do a better job.
Gumps win 14-7. I think the real game is going to be low scoring too. Not this low scoring though. I think you can see somebody in the 20s maybe. Definitely not going to see anything like what we saw in the Rose Bowl. I mean, that's That's for sure.
Making plays against the run game.
And he'll just take a knee.
He just took a knee on me. That's humiliating. I can't even believe that now. Well, what now? What year will the SEC East have two in the playoff? Probably not anytime soon, I don't think. UCF can't beat Bama. No, of course not. What did you do with that trash can? The trash can is literally right over there. It's not in the little studio area where I film anymore like it used to be, but I didn't get rid of it. I still have it because I have it on good authority that I'll be needing it again. So, and I also have it on pretty good authority that we will be hearing this week from 90 Proofer Luther. So he is coming over to help us out with a video this week, which is great. Everyone's favorite Alabama fan, 90 Proofer Luther. So we'll see what he has to say. Although he's been in how many videos now? 5 or 6. So we all have a pretty good idea of what it is he has to say, right? Because it's usually the same things. But anyway, we will have him on one day this week to get his take on this national title game. I can't play Madden. The Xbox 360 is the only thing I have out here. The PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One are inside. Alabama and Georgia is trash. That's according to the real John Bryant, who, if I'm not mistaken, is a Clemson fan, trolling as a Kansas fan, or it's either a Kansas fan pretending to be John Bryant. One of the three, I don't know. It gets real confusing in the comment section because the trolls always win, no matter what. I mean, you can block them, you can ignore them. You can throw them in a pit, set them on fire. It matters not. The trolls always win. That's not changing. It's always been that way, and it's most likely always going to be that way. Can I get a Go Gators? Go Gators. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Natty Back Steve. I'm going to get Natty Back Steve and General Voltard together for a video as soon as the season's over, too, and get their takes on the season. We sort of ignored them lately because they've just been irrelevant since about the middle of October. I mean, let's just be real about it. But we're going to get the both of them together and have them on video sometime soon after the season ends. So I don't know if it'll be next. The game is Monday night, so I don't know if it'll be next week or the week after or whatever the case may be. But in January, we will get Natty Back Steve and General Voltard together and get their take on the season, what went wrong, what they think about their new coaches, and how they like their chances heading into the offseason for next year. Can I get a Roll Tide? Whoa, Tide, woo! How's that? Whoa, Tide, woo! 16 titles, woo! 16 titles. Nick Saban, Bear Bryant, 16 titles. Whoa, Tide. Lou, YouTube as a career. No, I don't make nearly enough on YouTube to do it for a living. Oh, now that's an idea, John. What is that? John Cameroon 5. General Voltard needs to play this game. I wonder if I could do that. Could I be General Voltard for an hour and play as Tennessee? You know what? You just struck gold, sir. Who said that? Hold on. John something. Let me find that person. Where did he go? There he is. John Cameron. General Voltard needs to play the game. You're now a moderator, sir. That's one of the best ideas I've ever heard. Play the game. Let General Voltard play the game. That is such a good idea. Why did I not think of that? We're going to do that. Add that to the list of things to do in the offseason. You guys got a lot of things to remind me of. We got to do the worst teams imaginable playoff, which I guess will be Tennessee, Baylor, Rutgers, and Kansas. And I want to play some games as Tennessee, or let General Voltard play some games as Tennessee. Maybe we can get 90 back Steve to play as Florida. 90 proofer Luther can play a couple of games as Alabama. Might even be able to get Philip Huang Tektard III. To show us how the option works and play a few games as Georgia Tech. I mean, that's just a genius idea. Tennessee versus Tennessee as General Voltard. Do it like their spring skills challenge. You know, they don't have a spring game. They don't have a game. They just have that stupid skills challenge. They duck, goose, and what? The egg toss. Maybe they'll actually have a real spring game this year, right? With Jeremy Pruitt. That damn skills challenge Butch Jones had was something, man. Oh my God. Battle of the Superfans, yeah. That'll be good. We'll do that for sure. Tennessee versus the Browns. Oh, the Browns would steamroll them without question. The Browns would humiliate them for sure. Let's see. Hey, Luther showed up in the comments. It's funny, every time I start talking about 90 Prover Luther, he shows up in the comment section. Whoa, Tide Woo. Call Feinbaum as 90 Prover Luther. I would probably immediately become Paul's favorite caller. He's such an Alabama homer, ain't he? Hey, Paul, the Tide's gonna roll, Paul. Roll damn Tide, Paul. He eats it up too, doesn't he? Tennessee against South Carolina. That would be a good game. I mean, those are two teams headed in opposite directions, right? I think South Carolina's headed up. They're at least trending in an upward direction. I mean, hard to deny that. And Tennessee, hard to argue the crash and burn routine they got going on. So that's been an interesting game the last few years, Tennessee and South Carolina. Of course, 2 years ago, that was the I Quit game. With Jalen Hurd, that was the game he pretty much threw the towel in. At one point during that game, he refused to even go out onto the field, and he was gone from Tennessee not long after that. This year, Tennessee beat him. South Carolina beat him in Neyland Stadium. And another interesting fact, which is this is just one of those things. I mean, as much as I make fun of Tennessee and pick and poke at them and like to have a good time at their expense and stuff like that, I'm being dead serious when I say this. It's unimaginable to me that they have no wins against Will Muschamp. I just can't believe that. As bad as Will Muschamp was when he was at Florida, and even if you want to say they were pretty good this year, South Carolina, last year they were a 6-win team. Tennessee won, 8 or 9 games? And still couldn't beat them. So that's going to be an interesting game next year. And I've talked about this a bunch of times already, but Tennessee's schedule first 2 months of the season is absolutely brutal. They could easily start 2-5. So I don't know. We'll see. And one of those games is against South Carolina. So we'll see. Tennessee versus Cleveland Browns. The Browns would destroy them. Tennessee versus Florida in the Dumpster Bowl. I'm pretty sure that's actually what they played in this year. Baker Mayfield would whoop Lou's ass. So that's just not true. Let me show y'all this, though. You remember the pretender sign, right? Y'all know about that? Baker Mayfield had this giant sign made, right? Said pretender on it. I guess Lee Corso or Kirk Herbstreit or somebody in the preseason labeled Oklahoma a pretender for 2017. Not a contender, but a pretender. And I guess it pissed Baker Mayfield off. So he had this giant sign made that said pretender, right? Well, when they got off the bus to head into the Rose Bowl game on Monday, I guess, he was carrying that damn sign, said pretender on it. I mean, he looked like an idiot. But anyway, I thought it said pretender. But look at this now. And I hope y'all are going to be able to see this. It's on my phone. But look what the sign really says, though. You see him? Okay, that's him carrying the picture into the Rose Bowl. But look at it. Uncle Lou was right. So Baker knows. And then when he left the Rose Bowl after his press conference, he had a different sign. I cried like a boop. So, yeah. Where'd I go? I'm still here, to be honest. I'm gonna stay out here and talk to you guys for a while. Tampa Bay says he's going to do South Florida versus Georgia Tech. I think South Florida could probably beat Georgia Tech this year, to be honest about it. South Florida wasn't bad. They gave Central Florida all they could handle. The final score, Danny, was 14-7. Alabama won this one. The Under Armour All-America game is tomorrow? Why? That's normally on a Saturday. Are you sure it's tomorrow and not Saturday? I mean, I am going to watch it, but that's always on a Saturday. Or is it at night this year or something? I'll have to look it up unless one of y'all can tell me. Make a Baker Mayfield super fan. I don't think I could lower myself to the level to even impersonate Baker Mayfield, to be honest. Butch Jones or Derek Dooley? Well, Derek Dooley never went 0-8, and Derek Dooley never got shut out. So I'm going to have to say Derek Dooley was better than Butch Jones. Phone number? I mean, I'll give out the phone number once I start that show back up again, which will be sometime in the last 2 weeks of this month. I'll be starting that show back up, and at that point, I'll put the phone number out again and let people call in and be live on YouTube. Georgia fan says, some people in the All-American game are committed to other teams but plan on flipping. Now, as long as they're just committed, they can do that. But a lot of these players have already signed during the early signing period, and they can't flip. If they've signed, that's it. It's official. Tyler Sullivan, I'm not going to read that comment, but I will go ahead and tell you that I agree with it 100%. Yeah, lose the new Feinbaum. I mean, my call-in show has always been better than the Feinbaum show anyway, but I'm going to start it back up again in sometime in the last couple of weeks of January. We'll probably start it at a couple of days a week, and then increase it from there, depending on how it goes. Now, when I did these call-in shows before, if I did it for an hour, the phone rang for a solid hour. If I did it for 2 hours, the phone rang for a solid 2 hours. And that was great. And if it goes that way again, then we'll up it to 3 days a week. And if it's still that way, then we'll up it to 4 days, and we'll just keep it going like that. I don't know if Cade Mays is playing in the Under Armour All-American game or not. I have no idea. I hope that nobody that's already signed with UGA plays in the Under Armour All-American game, because as far as I'm concerned, nothing good can come of it. Now, that's me being selfish. Of course, these kids deserve to play in that game, and if they choose to play in it, I'm 100% okay with that. But if they've already signed with UGA, they've got nothing left to prove to me. But I get it. It's a huge game and a huge opportunity for these kids, and I wouldn't expect them to sit it out. Danny wants to get some commentary on a hot rod versus Jalen Hurts in a bare knuckle brawl. Well, have you ever seen Jalen Hurts' haircut? Hot Rod would beat him like he owed him money. Hot Rod, listen, Hot Rod would hit Jalen Hurts so many times, Jalen Hurts would think he was surrounded, okay? It just wouldn't be a fair fight. A Hot Rod would knock that man out in under a minute, max. Do I think Bama will need to focus on limiting Sony or Chubb in this game? I think that's sort of an obvious answer there. I think any team we play, whether it's Bama or anybody else, their defensive scheme is going to start with stopping Georgia's run game. That's been easier said than done this year. But that being said, very few teams successfully run the ball on Alabama. However, even in our losses to Alabama, we always run for over 100 yards against Alabama. Even going back to the blowout in 2015, Nick Chubb had, I think, 130 yards in that game. 2012, Todd Gurley ran all over Alabama. 2008, the blackout game we lost. 2007, the game we won. 2003, I think it was. 2002, which we won both those games. We ran all. So we run for over 100 yards every single time we play Alabama. The problem is, if it takes 30 or 40 runs to get there, that's not a recipe to beat Alabama. You've got to get your yards running and also throw the ball. Throwing is how you beat Alabama. Not with a running quarterback, not with Nick Chubb or Sony Michel. Not that we don't need those guys, and I expect them to have a good game. I think Chubb and Michel will get some meaningful yardage in this game. But I'm a believer that you've got to throw the ball to beat Alabama. I think Jake Fromm is going to have to play a really good game, somewhere in the neighborhood of, 23 for 30, something like that for, over 200 yards probably if Georgia's going to win this game. Mad Dog says, R.J. Young's video, you called it. Yeah, well, I already told you what the excuse would be if Oklahoma lost. I told you their excuse would be Stoops. And, of course, the game wasn't over for 5 minutes, and R.J. Young was on there with a fire Mark Stoops video. The problem with that is, yeah, you gave up a lot of points, but they don't want to blame Baker Mayfield. They're so in love with Baker Mayfield. Now, yeah, he lit us up in the first half. No doubt about it. We had no answers for anything Oklahoma was doing in the first half, running or passing. They ran for, I think, 140 yards in the first half on us, passed for more than that, scored 31 points. But in the second half, we held Oklahoma's offense to one touchdown. One touchdown in the second half and 2 overtimes combined. So in 2 quarters of football and 2 overtimes, Baker Mayfield led his team to a total of 1 touchdown. So I think some of the blame lies there. Now, you can credit Georgia's defense for that, obviously, but they don't want to do that. They don't want to credit Georgia for anything. They're just looking for somebody to blame. I've seen the play calling blamed. I've seen Lincoln Riley being in over his head blamed. I've seen Mike Stoops blamed. I've seen pretty much everybody blamed except for Baker Mayfield. And the reality of the situation is the dude crapped to bed in the second half. He was lost. He was running for his life the majority of the second half. He was overthrown. The interception he threw was a terrible pass. Terrible. I haven't seen Jake Fromm throw a pass that bad all season. And he threw some other passes that were just as bad. They just didn't get intercepted. But he just was completely shell-shocked in the second half. Legacy Fighter 18 says, Lou, who's your favorite NFL team? I don't do the NFL like I do college. I do watch NFL football, but when I watch NFL, I'm watching players really, not necessarily teams. So, obviously UGA players, but just any players that I really, really liked in college. I like to keep up with them in the NFL, but I don't really have a team in the NFL like I do the Georgia Bulldogs in college. Obviously, I'm born and raised and grew up here in Georgia. So I followed the Falcons for most of my life, but I've never been what anyone would. If I were to call myself a diehard NFL fan or Falcons fan, I feel like that would be disrespectful to people I know that really are diehard Falcons or NFL fans, and I'm just not. I'm more of a fan of players. Like I said, obviously UGA players, but other players too. Look, there's players all over college football that I really, really like every single year. Off the top of my head, I can name you a few from this year if you want. I really like Saquon Barkley and Bryce Love. I like that defensive tackle from Alabama that caught that touchdown pass. Is it Hand? Or Deion Hamilton, I can't remember his name now. I like him for whatever reason. I don't know. So people like that, I'll follow them on into the NFL and sort of keep tabs on how they're doing and stuff like that. But as far as rooting for a team, not really. I've done a little trolling on here. I think last offseason, I even did a poll and let people pick which team I was going to root for in the NFL, and I think the Lions won. But then I never did another single video about the Lions or any other NFL team. So anyway, that's sort of my feelings on that. I'll probably make a couple of playoff videos once the college football season is over, just because I'll have time. But during the college football season, I spend so much of my time watching and researching or whatever college football that I just don't have time to do a fair job with the NFL. I'll tell you who my Super Bowl pick is, though. The Los Angeles Rams against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's who I think is making the Super Bowl. I think the Falcons are going to lose round one. I don't think the Falcons are traveling to the West Coast and beating Todd Gurley and the Rams. I just don't see it happening. Why did you break a TV over the Falcons losing to the Patriots? Oh, that was obviously fake. If you see it, I mean, it was edited. I added emotional background music. I mean, I took a reciprocating saw out and cut the TV in half and all that kind of stuff. That was totally just like a dramatic. That wasn't meant for anyone to think I actually got mad at the Falcons and broke the TV over that. I mean, it wasn't even filmed after the game. It was filmed and uploaded either the next day or 2 days later. And there was this sad music playing, and I came out and sat in the chair and fake cried. And I had a machete, right? Yeah, I hacked the TV with a machete a few times. Then I got a reciprocating saw and cut it in half. Then I got a golf club and beat it. That wasn't meant to make anyone think that was real, though. Now, the Georgia Tech one where I broke the TV, that was real. So if you watch the Georgia Tech video where I break the TV and then watch the Falcons video where I quote-unquote break the TV, you can clearly see the difference between those two videos. And I've said before hundreds of times that the Falcons thing was not real. If I do anything that's not real, if I do anything that's embellished or made up or whatever, I either make it very, very clear that it's embellished or made up, or I just come right out and tell you. So that's the story there. People tell me all the time that my reactions to Georgia or college football games in general, whether it's other teams losing and me laughing or Georgia winning and me acting like a fool, people tell me all the time that that's made up and that's just me acting. Anyone that knows me in real life will tell you that that's not made up and that's not acting. And I have done way worse things and not filmed it and put it on, I've done way worse things after a Georgia loss than anything I've ever filmed and put on YouTube. And I'll just leave it at that. If I was only doing reactions or whatever to these Georgia games and I really didn't care and I was just faking that I was mad or upset or happy or whatever, the things I was doing would be way more over the top. If I was going to fake it, it would be way more over the top than just me yelling and screaming or getting mad and throwing a hammer through the TV like I did after the Georgia Tech game. Mason Rudolph from Oak State, where in the NFL draft? I like Mason Rudolph from Oklahoma State. I have a problem evaluating Big 12 quarterbacks as far as their potential in the NFL. Because it seems like almost every quarterback in the Big 12 is throwing for 400 yards a game. And, I find it hard to... I'm not enough of a draft analyst or anything like that to evaluate a Big 12 quarterback. I mean, obviously I can look at him and say, oh, he's 5'10", that's no good, or he's 6'4", so maybe. But I just find it hard to evaluate Big 12 quarterbacks. And if you look at this year's NFL draft, I mean, you've got Baker Mayfield, right, at Oklahoma. Who else in the Big 12, big-time quarterbacks? Mason Rudolph, Oklahoma State. But who are the two quarterbacks that everybody's talking about? Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold, both of which, by the way, declared today for the NFL draft. Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold will both be drafted ahead of Baker Mayfield. So the NFL doesn't really care that Baker Mayfield won the Heisman, and the Rose Bowl didn't care either. Nor did the team that Oklahoma played in the Rose Bowl, and that's why we went ahead and won. No snow here. You're in Aiken? Yeah, no snow. I'm in Evans, so what am I, 30, 45 miles from you probably? No snow here either. In Evans at all. So, yeah, a little disappointing there. Saw lots of pictures today on Facebook and other places of people in South Georgia and even North Florida that had plenty of snow, but none here for Uncle Lou. South Carolina winning the SEC next year? No. I think South Carolina can finish second in the East next year, though. Check my inbox. Email, you mean? I'll check it right now. I'm gonna show this, okay? This guy just emailed this to me. It's the Heisman. Oh, I forgot the camera's not on. I can't show it. Let me see if I can get the camera turned back on real quick, and I can show y'all this. The bottom half is the Heisman Trophy. And the top half is Baker Mayfield grabbing his nuts. That's pretty good. Yeah, I hadn't seen that one, so yeah, that's pretty good. And I see the, I don't want to say, this might be someone's real name, so I'm not going to say it, but shout out to the person that that did go ahead and send me the link to that SEC Shorts video that I was asking about earlier and said I wanted to see. I see that here too, so if you're still watching, sir, thank you for going ahead and sending that to Uncle Lou. Yeah, you're a scholar and a gentleman too, so, which is good. You're a scholar and a gentleman. Yeah. So, oh, the hype and hate video will be on Friday this week. I know the game's not till Monday, and I thought about putting it off to the weekend, but I've got some ideas for some other videos I want to do over the weekend. So the hype and hate video will be on Friday, and it's going to be a good one. If you guys saw the one I did before, I think it was for the Kentucky game, where I had a bunch of people send me messages of themselves saying, come get you some. I'm doing that again for the Alabama game. So I posted that at a couple of places on Facebook today, and I've already had a bunch of people send me videos of them saying, hey, Bama, come get you some of this, bitch. So anyway, if you're watching and you're a Georgia fan, and you're not on, you don't interact with me on Facebook, and you still want to be in that video, you can email it to me, a video of yourself saying, hey, Bama, come get you some of this, bitch. Say it any way you want, but don't add anything to it. Just say that. I know you're creative, and you probably have a lot of good ideas of things you want to say, but for the video, that's all I need. Make sure you hold the phone sideways when you film yourself, so you film yourself in landscape mode, not up and down mode. And just film yourself saying, hey, Bama, come get you some of this, bitch. Yell it, scream it, do whatever you want to do. Put a Georgia hat on, stand in front of a Herschel Walker poster or whatever you have, whatever. But if you want to be in that video, I need you to send me an email to crazyunclelou@gmail.com by tomorrow at 4 o'clock, and I will add you to the video. crazyunclelou@gmail.com. Thank you, Grant. Yep, that's right. Thank you for posting that. That's it. Yeah, crazyunclelou@gmail.com. Yeah, just email it there. Which one of y'all made a Lou Jr. account? The troll game is strong on LouTube. And look, I've told y'all before, some YouTubers hate trolls. They block every troll they see, whatever. I love trolls. Maybe it's because I like to troll sometimes too. But I like creative trolling. To me, trolling is not showing up on a comment section and calling a bunch of people the N-word, or gay or whatever. I like creative trolling. So like the people that will come up with, they'll make some kind of fake account. Like the guy that made the Matt from Gainesville account. To me, that's funny. I would never block that guy in a million years unless he did something else for me to block him. But I'm not going to block him just because he made a fake account called Matt from Gainesville. I think that's funny. So, I mean, I can appreciate a good troll if it's funny and creative. Somebody's asking me if I saw a hype video in the Savage Dogs group. I saw a lot of hype videos leading up to the game. So, the Natty, you did one for the Natty game? No, well, I probably haven't seen that one. No. If you're in that Savage group though, then you probably know who I am. Tag me in it. And if you already tagged me, tag me again, because what happens is sometimes if I'm not on Facebook for like an hour or something, and then I log in or I look at Facebook on my phone or something, I'll have like 400 notifications, so I can't always scroll through them all. But if you posted it in there, tag me and I'll watch it. I love a good hype video. I used to make hype videos, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of work to make a hype video if you want to do it right, If you want to get all the different clips that you need and sync music up to certain parts of the highlights and all that kind of, it's a lot of work, and you can't monetize it if you use any type of real music. So to me it just got to be not worth the work to do. But if there there's some people that's all they do is hype videos, and so they have the time to do it, and I mean, and there's some great ones out there. All right, so it's tag me in it, or even message it to me. Is it a YouTube link, like you have it on YouTube, or you just made the video and uploaded it directly to Facebook? In any case, if there's a way you can just send it to me on Facebook Messenger, then I'll definitely won't have a hard time finding it. If you posted it in the group, I can probably find it too. So either way, I'll do my best to find it. Yeah, Dirty Bird Jamal, they are. I mean, you can make one in no time at all. I mean, you can go to YouTube, you can download somebody else's highlight clip, right? And then mute the audio, and then just add whatever song you want to it and upload it and call that a hype video. And some people do that, and that's okay. But if you really want to do it right and make it your own and take clips from different games or different videos and mesh them together different ways with a bunch of different in and out effects and freeze frames and slow motion, and make music line up to certain parts in the clip and stuff like that. I mean, you're talking about hours to do something like that. The real John Bryant murdered the fake John Bryant. I think that's probably okay. I see somebody mentioning that guy, Wyatt. Now, there's been somebody in the comment section called Wyatt Webb that's completely out of his mind. I don't know if that's who y'all are talking about or if it's a different Wyatt. But this guy in the comment section, Wyatt Webb, if you see him, he's completely out of his mind. Yeah, Georgia fans making a comment here about the two different divisions of the Big Ten and how lopsided they are. I find it odd that the SEC gets talked about all the time in terms of the difference between the East and the West, right? And the general feeling being that the West is so much better than the East. And I'm not going to deny, especially this year, that the West was better than the East and has been overall a little better than the East for a while now. But you don't ever really hear that talk about the Big Ten, and you're exactly right. Outside of Wisconsin, there's no competition at all on that side of the division. There's just not. Now, the other side has been brutal the last couple of years with Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan State, and Michigan, right? Is that right? Those four are all on that same side, right? I mean, that's just brutal. Yeah, you can link it here. That's fine. I'm sure I can find it in that group, though. Alexander Rain, we streamed Georgia versus Alabama here, and Alabama did go ahead and win 14-7. Remember 2012, Gurley and Marshall completely overrated. That's probably one of the dumbest comments of the night, Johnny. I don't know if you watched that game and are choosing to forget it or what, but Todd Gurley ate you alive in that game. I mean, Georgia was beating you by, 14 points in the fourth quarter? 10 points in the fourth quarter? Georgia dominated that game up until the last 10 minutes or so. Not sure what you're saying about Todd. Anybody that listen, if anything, Todd Gurley was underrated. Okay, Todd Gurley's the best running back in the NFL now. I mean, that's ridiculous. Bama won 14-7. Brett, that would be, if you could do that for me, Brett, that would be amazing. And I will find a way to make it right with you, whether it's in fact, Brett, if you'll email me, if you're serious about that, if you'll email me, I don't know if you have a PayPal or anything like that. I can make that right with you before you even go to the game. But I would love that if you could do that for me. In all seriousness, that would be awesome if you can do that. Yeah, I think Gurley might win the MVP. I was going to give, you know what's going to happen though? They're going to give it either to Wentz. Wentz got hurt. I don't know. Now they're talking about giving it to Brady. But the thing is, Wentz has more yards even still than Brady, right? And he hasn't played in the last, 3 weeks or whatever it is? So, I don't know. They just love to give it to quarterbacks. But Todd Gurley, whether he wins the MVP or not, Todd Gurley is 100% the best running back in the NFL this year. I mean, you can't deny it. The guy's doing everything. He's catching passes. He's running for 100 yards. Yeah, thank you, Jamal. Exactly. Yeah. That's a typical Alabama fan, whoever made that comment. Johnny says, we beat UJ in 2010, 2011, 2012, and 2014. Who is we? Because we is not Alabama. Because Alabama did not beat Georgia in 2010. Alabama did not beat Georgia in 2011. And Alabama did not beat Georgia in 2014. So who is we, Johnny? You must be a South Carolina. Are you a South Carolina fan? I mean, what's going on here? A minute ago, you're talking about how Alabama destroyed Georgia and blah, blah, blah. And now you're saying we beat UGA in 2010, 11, 12, and 14. So that's not Alabama. That's got to be a Carolina fan. Sir, South Carolina would have to beat Georgia 30-something years straight just to even a series, okay? The best coach you ever had, Steve Spurrier, had a losing record to Georgia. You guys will never be Georgia. What is this? Now, this has been a good, fun stream. Everyone's been getting along from different fan bases and all that, just the way I like it on these streams. And you got to come in here now. I'm trying to stay calm here. Johnny, nobody cares that you beat Alabama in 2010 or whenever that was. Nobody cares. You beat Alabama, yeah, great. You've never won the SEC, sir. You've won the East one time. And you took one of the worst beatings in the history of the SEC championship game. Okay? Okay, you beat Georgia in 10, 11, 12, and 14. Okay, you beat Georgia 4 times. Congratulations. What did that get you? Nothing. Guess what? We beat you this year and won the East and the SEC and a playoff game and are playing in the national title in 5 days. You emailed it to me, Andrew? All right, I'll take a look. South Carolina has a losing record to Duke in football. It tore the goalpost down when you beat New Mexico State one year, okay? You had 2 of the top 10 coaches of all time, Steve Spurrier and Lou Holtz, and didn't win shit. Nothing. Won the East one time. Spurrier won the East one time. Holtz never won the East. Spurrier couldn't win the SEC at South Carolina. Georgia made Spurrier quit halfway through the season. We hung a half 100 on you in Athens. He gave up. He threw the towel in right then. Yeah, he coached another game or 2, but it was over. Once Georgia beat him into retirement. Spurrier's got PTSD from that game. Early onset Alzheimer's. Yeah, South Carolina's on the rise. They went from 3 wins to 6 wins to, 9 wins. Congratulations. Look, you sound just like Tennessee fan when Butch Jones first got there. And what did they do? They bragged and bragged and bragged. Oh, Butch Jones took us from 5 wins to 7 wins to 9 wins. Look, listen, any idiot can take a team from 5, can improve a 5-win team. Muschamp inherited a 3-win team. Any idiot can improve that, sir. You're still, all you're doing is beating teams you're supposed to beat. That's it. You're still losing to all the teams you're supposed to lose to. Didn't you lose to Texas A&M this year? I mean, you lost to Georgia. Clemson is still scoring touchdowns on you. You should have lost to NC State. That was one of the luckiest wins of the season, was South Carolina beating NC State week 1. Miracle win. I haven't looked, Brett, but I'm sure I got it. I'll look now. Yeah, I got your email. So I'm going to go ahead and reply something to you now. All right, I replied to you. You don't have to reply back right now. I'm probably not going to check it again tonight, and I'll get with you tomorrow. But if you would do that, if you could do that for me, then that would be great. Hold on one second. I got to take care of something here. People don't know how to act. All right. I'm not going to ban him just because he's talking about South Carolina, but I do disagree with a lot of what he's saying. Here's the thing. I was very complimentary of South Carolina towards the end of the year. Even after we beat South Carolina, I didn't do one of my usual, come on and laugh at you for 15 minutes videos. I was impressed with South Carolina at the end of the year. And I even picked South Carolina to beat Clemson. Of course, they made me look like a complete idiot by not even showing up for that game, per usual. Lately. But anyway, I do think South Carolina ended up being better this year than a lot of people think. But take a look around, and this isn't a knock on South Carolina or any other team. It's going to be hard for anyone not named Georgia to win the East in the next few years. I mean, I'm just being real here. This year's Georgia team that's in the national title game is probably the worst Georgia team you will see in the next 3 to 4 years. That's just reality. He's going to the national title game, Slim Mosley, and he's going to get me some kind of a souvenir or something from there. I'm handling that with him over email, but that was nice of him to offer to do that, though. There's another channel making Uncle Lou videos now. Soviet Mario. Oh, Lord. I guess I should be flattered that there's people making Uncle Lou videos. I mean... No, I don't mind I don't mind the trash talking. I mean, everybody. South Carolina's my most hated team. I get. But people always say, I made Lou triggered. Uncle Lou wakes up triggered every morning. Okay, so, but just talking about South Carolina does tend to get my blood pressure up a little bit. But I was impressed with South Carolina this year, and would it be the most shocking thing ever if South Carolina won the East next year? No. But I think anybody with any sense right now, and it'll be a couple of months, I guess, before the preseason predictions come out for next year, but I'll be surprised if Georgia isn't picked by everybody to win the East again next year. I mean, with Florida and Tennessee having so many question marks and terrible year this year and both changing coaches, I don't see anybody picking them to win the East. I think South Carolina will be picked second in the East. Can a team that's picked second in the East win the East? Of course they can. I mean, I'm biased. I'm a Georgia homer. But I think Georgia will win the East again next year. And I don't think I'm ridiculous for saying that because, like I said, I think every single preseason magazine, every single preseason poll, I think the coaches and media at SEC Media Day, I think everybody will pick Georgia to win the East again next year. Jacob Eason's not going to Florida. Look what Mark Richt did with Miami. He did the same thing he did at Georgia for 15 years. He won 9 or 10 games, and that's about it. Let's see. A couple people telling me to check my email again. Whoever's trying to video call me, I'm not going to be doing a video call with you right now while I'm live streaming on YouTube. Okay, I got a bunch of emails here, so someone named the Ranger, I got your email. Link to an Uncle Lou meme, I got that. Somebody, this looks like this might be someone's real name, so I'm not going to say it, but it says test. Wanted to make sure this is you, Uncle Lou. Okay, this Mad Dog 51. Yeah, this is me. So I'm not going to say your real name, but yeah, I got your email. Brett, I got your email. Andy Ray, I got an email from you. Georgia Man, another one from Ranger. Oh, shoot. I guess I did just say someone's real name. Sorry. But, so, yeah. SEC Shorts, the guy that sent me that. So, yeah, I got all your emails. So, and it's getting pretty late, so I probably won't check or respond or whatever to any of these until tomorrow. But I do have them all. Will UNCLELOU run for president in 2020? I get asked that all the time. Unfortunately, I'm just way too busy and much too important to waste time with something that doesn't matter, like presidential politics. Clemson going downhill, still better than USC Junior has been or will ever be. I'm not sure about the Clemson going downhill thing. I mean, I guess technically you can say they took a step back this year because they won the national title last year and didn't win it this year. But I'm not sure how many people expected Clemson to even make the playoffs this year. I know Clemson fans probably did. But I think Florida State was probably picked to win the ACC. And I think probably most people, myself included, thought this would be sort of a down year for Clemson. And by a down year, I mean like 9 or 10 wins. Okay, which is still a good year by most other people's standards. So Clemson ended up being better than I thought they would be. I thought losing Deshaun Watson would hurt them more than it did. I still think it hurt them. And if you saw the Alabama game, you know what I mean. They just were unable to do anything against Alabama. My console's about to shut down. Let me stop. I don't know why. Against Alabama, and then rewind to last year, Deshaun Watson threw for 410 yards against them. So I do think they missed Deshaun Watson, but I don't think they fell off nearly as much as a lot of people thought they would. They're loaded with NFL talent. We'll see how much of that they lose this year and how they're able to replace it next year. Here's the question I have for Clemson fans and just sort of a general, I can't wait to see how this plays out type of thing. I think Trevor Lawrence is the best high school quarterback I've ever seen. Now, does that mean he's going to win 4 national titles and a Heisman Trophy at Clemson? No, of course not. But I have a hard time believing he's not going to be the best quarterback at Clemson the minute he steps foot on that campus. He's that good, in my opinion. So I'm wondering how Clemson handles that with Kelly Bryant. And I'm curious what Clemson fans think about that. Do you guys... Are you guys sold on Kelly Bryant to the point where you're okay, where you're ready to go ahead and say Kelly Bryant's the starter next year no matter what? Or are you in a position where you're saying, I've seen enough of Kelly Bryant. If Trevor Lawrence is as good as advertised, he should play day one? Or are you one of those people? Or do you just think, hey, let Trevor Lawrence come in, they can compete for the job, may the best man win type of thing? I'm just curious how Clemson fans feel about that. I don't think Kelly Bryant was terrible. He obviously wasn't Deshaun Watson, but those were big shoes to fill. Nobody was stepping in this year and replacing Deshaun Watson like that. So I'm curious to see how Clemson handles that and what happens going forward, especially if Trevor Lawrence is as good as I think he's going to be. I'm curious how Clemson and Dabo Swinney and the fans and everybody are going to handle that. Look, Hunter Johnson. To me, if Hunter Johnson, I don't think Hunter Johnson is as good as advertised. To me, if he was, I think he could have beat out Kelly Bryant, right? When he came in against Syracuse, he looked lost. I don't know if that was a preparation problem. Since he wasn't the starter and he just wasn't getting enough reps in practice type of thing. He didn't look very good to me when he did play. So I'm just kind of curious how Clemson's going to handle this Trevor Lawrence situation, because I'm telling you right now, and look, Trevor Lawrence didn't come to Georgia, so I'm not just saying this because he's a Georgia commit. He's going to Clemson. He's the best high school quarterback I've ever seen. Let's see. Money, I guess, is a Clemson fan and says Trevor should not start day one, but if Kelly struggles, put him in. That's reasonable. Trevor Lawrence is going to beat out Kelly Bryant next year. That wouldn't surprise me at all. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure some of you are, all into recruiting. Some of you probably don't pay attention to it at all, and most of you are probably like me and somewhere in the middle. Watch some Trevor Lawrence videos. It borders on just not even fair when you watch this guy play in high school. He's unbelievable. Is Lawrence going to early enroll? Is Trevor Lawrence going to enroll in January? That would help him as far as I see some learn the playbook comments. Of course, that would help if he could early enroll. Y'all give me a second. I'll be right back. I got to grab something real quick. All right, then. I'm back like vertebrae. Alex says, I'm glad UJ ended up with Justin Fields instead of Trevor Lawrence. My thoughts on that are this. I think Trevor Lawrence is a better quarterback, but let's just be real. He's a pocket passer. We've got those. So I sort of agree because of the timing of how it worked out. I'm okay with Eason, but he may transfer, and Fromm, right? We're pretty set there. Fromm will be a sophomore next year. You bring Fields in as a freshman. He's a dual threat. Worst case scenario, you get Fields on campus and you figure out he can't throw the ball or whatever. Well, you still got Fromm for another 2 years. That gives you a chance to then recruit behind Fields. You see what I'm saying? It was it was good timing. It was a good opportunity for Georgia to pick up a dual threat guy. I mean, we've had a pro style quarterback since forever and a day, right? Since Quincy Carter, since DJ Shockley. You're talking about the late 90s, early 2000s. We've been having these pro style quarterbacks for the past 15, 17 years. So to just bring a dual threat in and completely change the offense overnight, not sure how well that would work. You're probably looking at a 1 or 2 year turnaround if you were to do that. But in the situation that Georgia's in, we can rely on our proven pocket passer, Eason, now Fromm. We can bring Fields in, give him some packages to run, ease him in type of thing. And, depending on how recruiting goes in the years behind Fields, if Fields pans out, then he'll have his opportunity to play in 2 or 3 years down the road, right? In terms of being a starter, because I think he'll play immediately, some in certain situations. But he'll have his opportunity as a starter a couple years down the road, right after Fromm. If for some reason it turns out Fields can't cut it, whatever, because there are no guarantees. Let's just be real. Then you're still in a good situation, right? Because you got Fromm for another at least 2 years, possibly 3. In a field, you get him on campus, and you say, well, this guy just doesn't have it. Then you've then got another recruiting cycle or 2 to try to get another guy in there. So how far is Atlanta from Augusta? About 100 miles. I mean, Atlanta's really, really big, so it depends on where you're going in Atlanta. But to just get to, like, downtown Atlanta from Augusta, you're looking at an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes. I-20 runs through downtown Atlanta, and it also runs to Augusta. It's a straight shot, I-20 from Augusta to Atlanta, so it's interstate the whole way. LSU is a zero-dimensional offense. Good morning, General Valtar. It's good to have you on, sir. Georgia plays LSU this coming season, at LSU. So I'm not complaining. I think we're catching LSU at a good time. I'm not very high on LSU going forward. It looks like they're fixing to lose their offensive coordinator, who was supposed to be their savior, right? It's Matt Canada. Is that his name? Brought him in. He was supposed to completely revitalize LSU's offense. Didn't work. LSU fell on their face again offensively. Now it looks like he's leaving to go coach for Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M. So Ed Orgeron's back to the drawing board in terms of picking an offensive coordinator. Whoever they bring in, it's going to be his first year next year. So I think we're catching LSU at a good time. The closer and closer it gets to that LSU game, the less and less worried I'm getting. Never easy to go play at LSU, but it looks like Georgia might be catching LSU at a good time. Georgia's 2 toughest games next year, at LSU and at South Carolina, in my opinion. I think those are the 2 toughest games on the schedule. Bobby Boucher or Baker. Bobby Boucher would absolutely annihilate Baker Mayfield. I just don't see how there's any question marks about that. Does the SEC win the Natty this year? I have a pretty good feeling they do, sir. Jamie Ford, would you rather be playing Bama or Clemson? I said last week before these games, before we knew who we were playing, I've wanted to play Bama all along. Obviously, I thought we would get our chance in the SEC title game. So I'm okay playing Bama in terms of who I would rather play, like from a winning point of view. It didn't matter to me. I think Clemson and Bama are very similar teams. Similar, stout defenses, similar offenses. Really, they like to run the ball with running quarterbacks too. So it's not like you're asking me to choose between Bama and Oklahoma, right? Which are 2 different offensive schemes where you can sort of say, well, Georgia might match up better against this particular scheme than the other. So from a matchup perspective, I didn't really think it mattered who we played, but I have wanted to play Alabama all year. So in that sense, I'm glad it worked out that way, and we get our chance at them this Monday. Oh, the DC is going to Texas A&M. Oh, I thought Canada was going to Texas A&M. Maybe I heard that wrong. Oh, that's right, Alex. To be the best, you got to beat the best. And that's what I was saying all year. I said, I feel like if Georgia wins the SEC, but it's not against Alabama, then you're going to have people say, well, yeah, Georgia won the SEC, but they didn't have to beat Bama to do it. Well, now we sort of get the best of both worlds, right? We win the SEC. Yeah, we didn't play Bama, but now we get a chance at them in the national title game. So we'll see how it goes. My favorite Georgia signee this year, I'm still on the, well, I have a couple of different perspectives on that. I think the best player that we've signed is Zamir White. The guy is an absolute monster. You just heard me spend 10 minutes talking about how great Trevor Lawrence is in high school and how he looked unreal. You could say the exact same things about Zamir White. He might be the best high school running back I've ever seen. He's that good. So I think he's the best player we got. I'm still in the mindset where I want linemen. I want beasts on the offensive line. We struggled up front for so long that, yeah, we had a good year this year on the offensive line, but I still can't get that mind. I can't get out of that mindset. I want offensive linemen. So Cade Mays, Trey Hill, I'm leaving one out. Defensive linemen, same way. We've been a little short as far as recruiting defensive linemen, in my opinion. The last year or two, I'm definitely not complaining about our recruiting classes. They've been monster classes, but we haven't signed a ton of defensive linemen. Now, we're pretty young on the defensive line right now, but still, you can't afford to go too many years without signing at least one or two elite defensive linemen, especially in the SEC. The one that we signed last year, Devontae Wyatt, he didn't qualify academically. Now, he was a 5-star all-world defensive tackle. He went the JUCO route, and he'll be in Athens in January. So I guess that counts as signing him this year now instead of last year. So that's a defensive. So those are the types of players I'm most excited about. And I would also probably put wide receivers in that category. I love Javon Wims. I think Godwin is a reliable receiver. I think Mecole Hardman is exciting with the ball in his hands. I just feel like we haven't really had a true number one wide receiver since A.J. Green. And it's not like I'm looking for another A.J. Green. I realize that might be a once-in-a-lifetime talent that we had with him. But it just seems like we haven't really had that 6'2", 6'3", 6'4 receiver with 4.4 speed that can run every route, that can shake man coverage, that can jump up and get the ball. Wims has had an unbelievable year, and Wims has exceeded every expectation I had for him. And so I'm not diminishing or downplaying his ability or talent or anything like that. But I would like to see us step it up on the wide receiver recruiting. Now, we've got the number 1 and number 2 wide receivers for the 2019 class already committed. Of course, there's a long way to go between committing and that signing day, so we'll see. But I was pleasantly surprised this year with the wide receivers. Miko suffered with some drop issues the first half of the season. Those seem to be corrected. He had an amazing catch in the Rose Bowl on the sideline where he was sliding and got his feet down. Wims, like someone just mentioned, seems to catch everything thrown his way. He just jumps up and grabs it. Godwin has had some monster plays this year. Now, tight ends have completely disappeared, but I think that's more of a scheme issue. Okay, what's going on here? Is someone typing LWO? What is this? LW. Yep. Good morning, the college football god. Good morning, LW. Yeah. Not sure what's happening here. If someone fell asleep on their keyboard or... Slim Mosley, does the Lou family have any pets? Jesus Christ, son, don't even get me started. We're running a damn shelter over here. We have 2 full-size labs. One weighs about 130 pounds. The other one weighs about 100 pounds. We have a Chihuahua, so the other end of the spectrum. That thing probably weighs about 12 pounds. And we have 2 cats. None of which were Uncle Lou's idea. But we have 2 kids, and they have a mother who doesn't know how to pronounce the word no. Okay, college football god, stop. Whatever it is you're doing, just stop it, or you're going to end up getting blocked or something. I don't really know. It's not, I don't, some kind of a troll I don't know about or what it is. Now here we go. Now the R's are coming now. What is he even trying to type? See, this is what I mean. If this is a troll attempt, it's completely uncreative. It's not funny. It's just pointless and annoying. And you're most likely going to end up getting blocked because of it. I don't know why you do that to yourself, sir. That Isaac Nauta pass almost ended the game because not only did he drop it, he tipped it up in the air. That easily could have been intercepted and ended the game. But really disappointed. Okay, just block the college football guy. That's enough. I can't take any more of that. the college football guide, where it's just, I think he fell asleep on his keyboard. I mean, that's the only rational explanation. Timeout will work too. We need to remember him, though. If he comes out of timeout and starts that crap again, then he's to the pit of misery. What did I think about Brian McClendon play calling in a South Carolina and Michigan game? I think it's hard to judge an offensive coordinator in a game against Michigan because Michigan has an elite defense. With that being said, I thought South Carolina played a really good game. I picked South Carolina to win that game, and they did. So, and that's an impressive win because South Carolina, they had a pretty good year, but I think most people, I mean, hell, Michigan was favored, right? And look what the Big Ten did in the bowl games. They dominated. So I think most people probably expected Michigan to win that game. So that was a big win for South Carolina. Will Brian Kelly get an NFL offer, please? Y'all can't be mad at him after this year, are you? I mean, I know he finished kind of bad with a couple of losses. Would he lose 2 of his last 3 or something? But after the season y'all had last year, I think y'all did pretty good this year, right? John Bryant, you're going to get blocked. I hate blocking people that are on here all the time, but it's just annoying. I mean, figure something else out, dude. Did South Carolina, somebody help me out here. Didn't South Carolina just fire their offensive coordinator? Right? And that's why you're asking how Brian McClendon, how I thought he did calling the game. Why? Why did they do that? I know there's at least a couple of South Carolina fans left in here. Why did y'all fire your offensive coordinator? Uncle Lou's son. Lorenzo Carter should be blocked. Yeah, somebody from Oklahoma should have blocked him on that field goal attempt. But wasn't it what was the guy's name? Shoot. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Shoot. What was his name? I mean, why was he terrible though? Y'all had a pretty good year. I mean, you lose your best player, really, in Deebo Samuel, right? You still win 8-9 games. Bentley progressed, right? I mean, Bentley had a pretty good year. I mean, hard to judge your running. Your offensive line really is not where it needs to be. Roper, yeah. Isn't Roper the guy that Muschamp brought in at the very end at Florida? And then, I guess, took him also to South Carolina? I don't know. I don't know what Muschamp's doing. I do know that this is not a good sign for Muschamp because this was his downfall at Florida. He couldn't get the offense figured out. He was running through offensive coordinators like underwear. If he doesn't get this, is he going to make Brian McClendon offensive coordinator? Is that what he's doing? Or did McClendon just call that game until they hire one? He better get this right, whatever he does. Are there... How many General Falstart accounts are in this comment section now? Uncle Lou's lamb? Now there's a lot of pets here, but there ain't no lambs here. Feed me, bitch. I have to have one of the funnest comment sections on all of YouTube. I love you guys. Is Roquan the second best Georgia player of all time? I don't know. That's hard to say. That's hard to say. I don't know. I would really have to. I think it's hard to say that while the guy is still there. I think that's something. Maybe some time has to go by, and you look back and maybe try to see where he fits in there. I mean, he's the only Georgia player to ever win the Butkus Award for the best defensive player. I don't think that by itself doesn't necessarily mean he's the best Georgia defensive player ever. There just could have, because we've had some monsters on defense. They didn't win that award, but maybe there was somebody else in college football that was just really, really good that year too. Or so. I mean, I really have to think about that. Score prediction for the Natty. I'll do a score prediction probably sometime this weekend. Obviously, I'm picking Georgia to win the game. I did like sort of an initial thoughts video earlier today. Check that out if you haven't seen it yet. Not really a trash talking video. That was just a sort of, here's my initial thoughts type of thing. Friday will be the come get you some video. And then probably Saturday or Sunday, I'll do like an in-depth video of how I expect the game to go, and I'll give a score prediction at that time. Do you think we can stop Jalen Hurts? Pluto Games wants to know. Well, I think we can stop him from passing because he's a terrible passer. He's not a quarterback. He's a running back. As far as stopping him from running, I don't think you're going to shut him. I think stopping Hurts from running the ball is sort of like stopping Baker Mayfield from passing the ball. I don't think you're going to shut him down completely, but I think there's things you can do to make it hard for him. And I think there's third down. You got to get off the field on third down. I mean, it sounds like a broken record, but when you get to the playoffs and you're playing these elite teams, it's the simple things that matter. Get off the field on third down. Convert when you're on offense on third down. Stay on the field. Don't turn the ball over. Field position, right? Punts there'll be a lot of punts in this game. So punts are important. Return yardage and keeping them from getting return yardage to flip field position. I mean, these are the kinds of things that are going to sway this game. Georgia and Alabama are both going to line up and run the ball. The defenses are going to do their best to load the box and stop it and dare the other team's quarterback to beat them. I like our chances in that scenario. I think Jake Fromm is a better passer than Jalen Hurts. So if we can bottle him up, I think Georgia's got a really good chance to win this game. Alabama's offense does not scare me or frighten me like it has in years past. It just doesn't. Are their running backs terrible? No, their running backs are pretty good. They're not as good as the running backs they've had in the past. You guys have been watching the football all year long. Do any of you think that this year's Alabama team is as dominant as some of the teams they've had playing the national title game in years past? I don't. Yeah, Dogs fan 1196. McColl's been due for a huge return forever and a day. I hold my breath every time that dude catches the ball. I cannot believe he's not broken one for a touchdown this year. And I said this right before the Rose Bowl. What better time than the Rose Bowl for him to finally break one? Well, what better time than the national title game than for him to finally break one? Something like that could really swing the game. Sketchy memes. Do you have Xbox or PS4? Both. I have an Xbox 360, which is what this old football game is played on, and then I have an Xbox One and a PS4. Ray English, can our receivers beat their defensive backs? We don't really have a receiver that can beat man coverage from a corner that is a lockdown corner. You also got to think about Alabama's safeties, Minkah Fitzpatrick in particular. Now, just because we don't have any receivers that can beat them doesn't mean we can't complete passes. We were talking about Javon Williams a few minutes ago. The dude's 6'4", can jump out of the building. Basketball player until his senior year in high school. A lot of people don't know that about Javon Williams, but the dude didn't even play football till his senior year in high school. So he's really still learning. So, but I think you're really not going to beat anybody on Alabama one-on-one, really. I mean, they're as good or better than whoever they're playing at almost every position. That's just the way it is. But I think there's things that we can do. I think we match up really well with Alabama. SEC defenses, particularly, your Auburns, your Georgias, your Alabamas, those defenses are built to stop teams like Georgia and Auburn and Alabama. They're not built to stop Oklahoma and Baker Mayfield because we just don't play that style of football in the SEC, right? No way Alabama scores 48 points on Georgia. You can forget it. That's just not happening. If you're tuning into this game thinking you're going to see something like what you saw in the Rose Bowl, you're wasting your time. This is going to be a 20-something to 20-something game. Most likely. If a team gets to 30, they probably win, I think. Georgia's not going to have 10 runs of 30 yards or more or whatever like they did against Oklahoma. That's not going to happen. But I do think Georgia can move the ball on Alabama running the ball. I 100% think they can. We did it against Auburn in the SEC championship game, and I think we can do it against Alabama too. I think another big key to this game is going to be first down passing for Jake Fromm. Jake Fromm and any quarterback really is at his best throwing the ball when they want to, not when they have to. You don't want to be throwing the ball on 3rd and 12, right? I mean, you don't want to be in 3rd and 12, period. But it's a lot easier to complete passes on 1st and 10 than it is on 3rd and 10, right? You see what I'm saying? Teams are expecting you to pass on 3rd and 10. Play action passes. Pick your shots, right? 3 or 4 downfield shots at some point during this game. And catch a few of them would be nice, too. Boy, y'all are off the chain with these names. Now Uncle Lou's Lab. I do love you, Uncle Lou's Lab. It's not that I don't love you. It's just that you're annoying as hell. Not the comment guy, but the for real Uncle Lou's Lab. Both of them. Isn't Georgia's offense or was it defense coordinator coming over to Tennessee? No, Tennessee interviewed Georgia's defensive coordinator for the head coach position, but it didn't work out. So they got Jeremy Pruitt. So Alabama's defensive coordinator is going to Tennessee as head coach, Jeremy Pruitt, but he's still with Alabama right now. Good morning, Cameron. Uncle Lou's Black Lab. One's black and one's tan. Uncle Lou's Subconscious. New troll account here. Hey, if anybody had to spend any amount of time inside my head, conscious or subconscious, they would probably self-implode. Georgia 35, Alabama 21. I would not be complaining if the game ended and that was the score. Could Butch Jones win life championships at Kansas? I don't think so. I actually heard today that Butch Jones is possibly looking at being demoted to a high school coach at this point. No one seems to want him, and he's considering coaching in high school. Yeah, the tinfoil hat protects me at all times. So, obviously, it protects me more when I'm wearing it. But just having it out here, which that's out here right now. I'm looking at it right now. It's always out here. Protects me at all times. See? Protected. No problem. The trash can sends me to the 5th. I just got out of the 4th dimension, and now you're trying to send me to the 5th dimension now? I'm not sure how I feel about that, to be honest. Kansas, 2019 national champs? I seriously doubt it. Uncle Lou's Georgia sunglasses. Oh, aliens are 100% in New Mexico. Uncle Lou's Georgia sunglasses say, "Wear me, bitch." Oh my God. Uncle Lou's black lab. I saw Uncle Lou make a drug deal. Well, you're not supposed to tell anybody. How do I feel about UCF claiming the national champion? They can claim anything they want. They're not national champions. A year from now, 5 years from now, if you ask somebody who won the national title in 2017, they're going to say Georgia or Alabama, whoever wins on Monday. No one's going to say UCF. This is a thing now because they're undefeated and they're making a big deal about it. And, you know, UCF is in Orlando, the land of make-believe, Disney World. You know, they can make believe they won a title. They can have a parade and march through Epcot Center or whatever they want to do and act like national champions. And I'm not going to knock UCF. They had a great year. And I hate knocking these small schools or whatever, these non-Power 5 when they have a good year. I'm not going to knock them or whatever. But regardless of what they claim, they're not national champions. And a year, 5 years, whatever down the road, when you look back, whoever wins Monday night, that's who the national champion is. C.C. Jefferson said, "We're winning the East next year." Okay. Well, he's a guy, so. Joe Gator says, "Uncle Lou, road to 10,000 subs." Yeah, a bunch of people subscribed the other day during my Rose Bowl into the game live stream. That's crazy, by the way. 100,000 people watched that thing already. I think something like 20,000 actually watched it live, and it's up to like over 100,000 now. And I guess a lot of them subscribed, a couple of hundred or something. Uncle Lou's Tennessee trash can. Most triggered fan base in the Uncle Lou comment section. This is no surprise to me, but it's Oklahoma by far. And this normally happens. It's because the teams that we play every year, they either already know Uncle Lou or they sort of get it, right? Especially SEC teams. I mean, trash talk is just a way of life down here when it comes to football. But it's hard for us to believe, but it's not like that everywhere. So whenever we play a team that we don't normally play, this always happens. Notre Dame was like that early in the year to a certain extent. Although I had made a few Notre Dame videos in the past, so some of them already knew Uncle Lou, and they didn't get nearly as mad and upset as the Oklahoma fans did. And they're still mad and upset, even more mad. I mean, they're still showing up in the Uncle Lou comment section and different places with the excuses. And like if you read through the comments on that Baker Mayfield video I made, they are, I mean, they're like cape mad. I mean, super duper mad. You know, rubber boots and a superhero mask type of mad. All right, Eagle Gaming, I appreciate that, sir. Will Muschamp's in the house. Good morning, Boom. UJ 32, Alabama 28. Pretty close to what I probably think the score will end up being. Somewhere in that neighborhood, probably. Pretender sign on eBay for $249. That's actually not a bad deal. If Baker Mayfield autographed it, it'd probably be worth $5 instead of $250. Uncle Lou's subconscious says Squid Tart is the best YouTuber. He definitely has talent. I mean, as somebody who does a little bit of editing and post-production type of work, I can watch people's videos and tell whether they know what they're doing, or whether they just threw something together real quick. And it's obvious that Squid Tard knows what he's doing and has some talent and some ability for sure. He's good at what he does. Uncle Lou's Herschel Walker jersey. Thanks for putting me on the wall. You're welcome, Jersey. Boy, this comment section is out of control today. There's like 2 real people in the comment section right now, and the rest of them are fake troll accounts. But there's some good ones, though. A UJ linebacker sacks Jalen Hurts in the end zone for the game-winning safety. Georgia wins 5-3. It's not that I think a safety is out of the question, but I do think there will be more points scored than that. Maybe not a lot more, but I think there will be more than that. The bandwagon is full, Mr. Mayfield, Baker Mayfield, sir. So you'll have to find another fan base to jump on, sir. Don't want you or need you. Shoot him, I know you're real, sir. Hey, good morning, Jay. Oh, really, Grant? Will Muschamp's brother is the football coach at your school. That's pretty cool, I guess. I don't know anything about Will Muschamp's brother. I'm not even sure if I knew he had a brother, but that's cool, though. I don't watch anime, Joe Gator. Not that I have anything against it or whatever. I just never got into it. Brett says, how do you watch most games and with who? Well, I watch them at home. I don't actually watch every single minute of every single game in my grandma's garage or my mom's basement or whatever it is y'all are calling this area where I film videos in. I'll usually watch most of the games inside with Miss Lou and Lou Jr. and Luann. Now, they don't really sit down and watch the game, though. The kids are too young to really care. Miss Lou's not into football, so she only watches the big games. Like she watched a lot of the Rose Bowl with me. And, sometimes we'll have people over, my brother, my dad, friends over. But usually only a couple of times a year do we have people over here to watch the game. Now, I mean, when I was younger, it was totally different. It'd be 25, 30 of us getting together to watch the game. But, I mean, I'm an old man now. I've got kids, and they always have stuff going on the weekends. So, like, a lot of times we might have to take them, and whether it's a birthday party they have to go to or whatever, and I'm in a rush to get back for the game, so it's hard for me to plan like stuff to do here. But I had people over this year for the Notre Dame game. I think one other game too. I can't remember which one though. But if a game is close, especially at the end of a game, I will come out here and watch it because I get carried away. I don't like to yell and scream and all that kind of stuff in front of my kids. I mean, they know it's just a football game or whatever, but so even if I'm not live streaming, a lot of times I'll come out here and watch the end of the games. Or a lot of times there's other things going on here, like my kids might have a friend over to spend the night or something like that. I'll sit out here and watch the whole game then because I don't want to be bothered with whatever it is they're doing in the house. So it's nice to have this setup out here. I mean, I've got 2 big recliners out here. People make fun of my TV all the time. They say it's small. It is small. I think it's a 32-inch TV. But I sit 4 feet from it in the recliner to watch the chair. So it's no different, really. Like the one in my living room is 55 inches, but I'm 20 feet away or whatever. I actually can see the game better on this TV out here than I can on the 55-inch TV inside the house. And then usually I go to 1 or 2 games a year. I didn't go to any games this year, and that was a self-imposed punishment. And I don't know if somebody is punishing me extra hard because I made this decision last year that I wasn't going to go to any games this year as a self-imposed punishment. And then look at the season we had. So it turned around and bit me. I could have gone to the Rose Bowl for free. Airfare, hotel, tickets, everything, you name it. And I had to say no. And as far as the national title game goes, I don't get season tickets, which is the only way to get affordable tickets for this game. If you buy them off of StubHub or anything like that, you're going to pay $2,500 a ticket, and I just can't justify that. If I paid $2,500 to go to a Georgia game, when I got back to Augusta, I wouldn't have a place to live. I mean, it's just that's just the way it is. Leave the remote control out of this. You can make fun of of my small TV. That's fine, but leave the remote out of it, sir. Master of Dreams, respond to my comment. This is me responding to your comment. What are the toughest 6 years in a UCF life? 3rd grade. My Xbox One username, I think, is Uncle Lou here. One word, Uncle Lou here. Uncle Lou's TV repair shirts. There are Uncle Lou TV repair shirts. You can buy them off of that link that's in the description, the Spreadshirt shop or whatever. There's 4 or 5 different shirts in there, I think, but there is a Uncle Lou's TV repair shirt in there. Nah, I can't do 24 hours. That's not going to happen. We're going to end this pretty soon. My intention was just to stream the game and then end it, which we would have been over at like 11, but the comment section has been fun tonight. So I figured I'd stay on a little while for you guys. Billy Goodwin, when did you start your channel? I think it was 2014, I think, is when I started this channel. You should do IRL streams in real life. You're going to have to tell me what that means. Is that like a vlog, like daily vlogs? I think it's Uncle Lou here, and each word is capitalized, but no spaces, I think. Uncle Lou. I don't have an attack bird. Uncle Lou's attack bird. What? Uncle Lou's videos of the monkey on the laptop. Oh my God. Y'all are working overtime today. 2014. The Uncle Lou versus DirecTV. There's 2 or 3 videos in that series, and those are pretty good. Billy Goodwin, sorry. Do you play PS4? Well, my son just got a PlayStation 4 for Christmas. So we've only had it for a couple of weeks, and I haven't played it that much. You should go back to South Carolina campus and do another video when there's people there. Yeah, both campus tours that I've done was during the summer when hardly anyone was there. So I've done 2 of them, and both times there was hardly anybody there. Uncle Lou's Herschel Walker jersey says, "Hey Lou, can you let me out of the portrait? I need to breathe." You know I cut a hole in the back so you could breathe, sir. Relax. Bring back Herschel Walker. Master of Dreams. Uncle Lou, what champions are the worst this year? Conference champions, I would have to say Southern Cal. They got the Pac-12 just overall was just terrible. They win 1 bowl game or something. Stick Pig says, what games do you play on Xbox One? I think I had Madden 17 on there. I obviously don't play that anymore because I have Madden 18 on the PS4. I used to play GTA 5 on there a lot, but I really don't play games that much, though. I really don't. They're mainly for my son. He's on there all the time. So, and a lot of you guys from here have played with my son before on a lot of games because I've mentioned his and mine usernames on Xbox and stuff like that before, and then we'll get a bunch of friend requests or whatever it's called. I'm video game ignorant, really, but whatever they're called, friend requests or invites or whatever. And so Lou Jr.'s played with Parker Raycroft. Why are you awake, sir? You need to go to sleep. Uncle Lou's subconscious. They're actually the best. Is UCF the new Boise State? No, because they're losing their coach too soon. Boise State was able to hold on to Peterson for a while and put together a bunch of good years. That's not going to happen at UCF. Hey, I have Madden 18 for PS4. Would you add me? You'll have to add me, but I'll accept it however that works. But now the name on PS4, I haven't set up an account on PS4 yet. Only Lou Jr. has, and so I'll probably just play under his thing or whatever. But I think his name is Lou Jr. Gamer, no spaces, and each word, it starts with a capital letter. So capital L, capital J, capital G, Lou Jr. Gamer. It's not spelled out here. Let me type it in I'll type it in the comments section. I think it's I think that's it right there. Lou Jr. Gamer, capital L. And then the junior and then the gamer. Yes, I have Rocket League on Xbox One. Uncle Lou's Chinese pen pal. Yeah, my idea with the campus tour thing, Joe, I was going to do one a year. I did South Carolina, and then the following year I did Alabama. I actually went to Tuscaloosa. I went there and back in the same damn day. Anyway, the idea was to do 1 or 2 a summer and to do them all. But then the last 2 summers, or last summer, I didn't do one. But anyway, I would like to get back to that. I'd like to go to Florida's campus, Tennessee. Hey, Corey, what's going on? Good morning, sir. No, I didn't go to UGA. I did not go to UGA. No, I went to school, college here in Augusta. Read option, beep, boop. Yeah, they said Gus Malzahn got that raise and extension. He's making $7 million a year now. He said it takes $8 million a year if you want him to beat UCF, though. Twitter name is at Crazy Uncle Lou. There's a link in the description of almost all my videos that I think you can just click on and it'll take you to my Twitter page. But it's at Crazy Uncle Lou. Yes, Billy, you can be my cameraman. Yes. I'll pay you double what I paid my last cameraman. Have I ever predicted UJ to lose on this channel kind of a short time? No, I haven't. I think the year that I started making UGA prediction videos, I think was 2014. And so, who'd we play that year? We opened up with Clemson. We beat them. Nick Chubb's first game. Scored his first touchdown wearing only one shoe. 2015 is when anybody really started paying attention to the Uncle Lou channel. Because, well, for a couple of reasons. We played Alabama that year, and I made a video after that game that sort of went viral. Then we lost to Tennessee, I think, the very next week. And I made another video. That one also went viral. And then we lost to Florida, and that's where I did the famous Fire Mark Rick rant. And that one, that was my first experience with like any sort of notoriety. Like, I live in Augusta. I made that video. Like, within 48 hours, I had been contacted by almost every news station in Georgia. Every news station in Atlanta for sure. But probably every news station in Georgia. ESPN called me. The Paul Feinbaum Show called me. Sports Illustrated called me. There was articles about that video on every single sports blog on the internet and Facebook. I mean, it was everywhere. And that was probably that was like my first experience with like any sort of like attention or whatever to Uncle Lou. That's up until that point, my videos were getting 400 or 500 views a piece, and it really started to take off then. Have you ever had anyone in Augusta recognize you in public? Yeah. A lot of times, really. Like, I'll be at kids' soccer game and like another parent will recognize me. One time at the mechanic place, we were taking Miss Lou's car in to, I forget what even was wrong with it. We were taking her car in to get something fixed. But like, restaurants, I was in a few weeks ago, I was in Publix, and like one of the baggers, or no, one of the shelf stockers or whatever, said something to me. And then when I was in the parking lot, one of the baggers ran out into the parking lot yelling at me. I thought I had left my wallet inside or something. And he was like, "You're Uncle Lou?" And then at the UGA games, of course, it's, I can't walk 5 feet up there without somebody stopping me. It's weird, though. You never really get used to stuff like that. It's really weird. And I'm not like what you see on, like, I'm shy, really. People don't really believe that, but like I'm sort of shy in public or whatever. And when people meet me in real life, they're like, "Oh, I thought you'd be jumping around." Like, I don't know, like they expect me to just be yelling and screaming all the time, you know. It's weird. It's weird to get wrecked. You don't ever get used to it. And the weird thing is, too, a lot of times, like, we'll be out somewhere and you'll see, like, someone looking over at us or something if we're out to eat or something. And, like, like, they know, or they at least think they know, but they just don't want to come up and say anything or whatever. But once one person comes up and says something, like, no matter where we're at, once one person comes up and says something, and then a lot of times they'll ask to take a picture or something. As soon as that happens, then other people then do it too. Definitely Squid Tard. I want to get to a game up there. I actually have a real good friend of mine that lives in Atlanta. He's a Georgia fan. But he has an aunt that lives in Knoxville and graduated from Tennessee and gets season tickets every year, even though she doesn't go to the games. And she gives him the Georgia-Tennessee tickets every year, whether it's in Athens or Knoxville. And there's been like 3 times I was supposed to go to the game with that guy in Knoxville, and all 3 times something came up and I couldn't go. I've been with him a bunch of times and used those tickets in Athens, which is weird because it's in the Tennessee section in Athens, so I'm always sitting in the middle of a bunch of Voltards when I go. But I mean, if I ever get up that way towards Knoxville, then I'll definitely let everybody here on YouTube know about it, and meet up with some of you guys. For anytime I go anywhere, I always let everybody know, whether it's on a vacation somewhere or Atlanta. I went to Chattanooga a couple of years ago and met up with a couple of people that knew me from YouTube up there. So I'll always let y'all know wherever I'm going somewhere. Yeah, now I don't mind it when people walk up and ask me or whatever. It's not, I don't mind it at all. It's just that I'm kind of shy, and so and I can always tell they don't really know how to react, because they don't know, they don't know me really, so they don't know how I'm going to be. I don't know them from Adam's house cat, and it's a lot of times it just feels like they're expecting me to be. I mean, hell, I went to the Georgia spring game last year dressed as General Voltard, so I say I'm shy, but I mean, it's not like I'm, maybe I'm exaggerating a little, because I walked around Georgia campus for 4 hours before the spring game this past April, dressed as General Voltard. The mask, the hat, the pink straw that I use as a meth pipe, a Tennessee jersey, a T-shirt that said General Voltard on it. So, I mean, I say I'm shy, but then I went up there dressed like that. So, I mean, how shy am I really, I guess? And there was a lot more people that wanted to take pictures with General Voltard than ever wanted to take pictures with Uncle Lou, I can tell you that. Hello, Uncle Lou's Xbox One. No, South Carolina is my most hated team, Thomas. Now, Tennessee became the team that I like to make videos about the most, mainly because of Butch Jones. I mean, the guy was constantly doing something that was video worthy. I mean, I'm going to miss Butch Jones. I mean, his press conferences, his little sayings, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that gave people like me a ton of material. No, I'm not calling in a Paul Feinbaum show this week. Yeah, people have been asking for a Gamecocks character for a while. The thing with the characters is, it takes me a while really to sort of get an idea of what I want to do, and then I have to put the look together, and then I have to sort of come up with a voice for it. And the idea of doing a voice, like people tell me all the time, General Valtard sounds like an LSU fan from the Bayou or something like. The idea of the voice isn't really to sound like someone from Tennessee, or for Natty Back Steve to sound like he's from Florida. It's really just, for me, it helps me get into a different character type thing. I need to have some sort of different voice that I can do to use to portray that certain character. So it's harder to do, maybe, really than it seems. I mean, picking out the outfits and stuff like that is pretty easy, but then coming up with whatever their sort of shtick is going to be, like General Valtard, he smokes meth and rants and raves and dances the jig to the shit-kicking music or whatever. Natty Back Steve owns a roadside fireworks stand in Florida and wears the American flag bandana, and that's his sort of thing. 90 Proofer Luther, drinks all the time, and the only thing he knows about football is Bear Bryant, Nick Saban, and 16 titles. And then you got Philip Wang Tektard III, who, every time he gets on video, he's supposed to be talking about a football game, but instead he talks about Magic the Gathering or some sort of Comic-Con convention or whatever. It takes a while to come up with sort of those shticks. And then each video that I do with one of those characters, there's a point to the video, whether it's a story that's happened in the news or the team has won or lost a big game. So I have to incorporate that into the video, because that's ultimately the point of doing the video at that time. But then I also try to bring in the recurring themes from that character, whether it's the fireworks stand or the Magic the Gathering or the meth pipe or whatever it is. So every one of those that I add is a whole nother sort of character that I have to develop. It's not as easy. Like for a South Carolina fan, I could easily, maybe wear a wife beater, a mullet wig, and talk about mid-'80s Mustangs would be a good thing to do for South Carolina fans. But then I got to come up with a voice and do the whole thing. But that will be the next one I do, will be a South Carolina fan. And maybe over the course of this offseason, I'll put that together so that it's ready to go for next football season. Oh, I turned it off so y'all didn't have to look at me, the camera. No, I don't typically go to any of the UGA basketball games. I'm thinking about going to the Georgia-Auburn game here in a couple of weeks. My brother is taking his kid, and so I'm thinking about going to that game, but nothing's for sure with that yet. Good morning, Walker Langston. Colin Cowherd's a paid troll, KP. That's it. Nothing more. He doesn't believe half the things he says. He says it for reaction. Or because the place that he's working at the time is paying him to say it. That's it. Colin Cowherd said in 2013 that Nick Saban would never beat Gus Malzahn again. Since then, they've played 4 times. Malzahn's beat him once. He comes out middle of this season and says Ohio State would road grade Alabama. Ohio State goes out the next week and gives up 55 points to Iowa and loses by 30-something points. The guy, you can't, I don't take anything he says seriously. He said Oklahoma was going to destroy Georgia. That didn't happen. So now he says Alabama's going to destroy Georgia. I don't take anything he says seriously. He's just a paid troll. Yeah, Squidtard, that works when you type the @UncleLou. It does work. It shows up in red when you type the @UncleLou, so that does help you to stand out from all the other comments. Yes. Alabama beats UGA 49-10. There's absolutely zero chance of that happening. None. Not of Alabama winning. Of course there's a chance Alabama could win, but there's zero chance that they beat us by 39 points. Uncle Lou's hover helmet. I'm getting dizzy. Oh, that's a good one. Uncle Lou's Xbox One. I'm responding to you. Yes. There's not really a reason to do a DirecTV video right now, Thomas. I mean, that whole thing was they weren't going to carry the SEC network, and that was unacceptable to me. So I called them 3 times and recorded it every time, and the whole time you've seen it. But unless something like that happens again, then not really a reason for me to call them. Georgia Man says, what do you think about the black jerseys? Or no, Dogs fan, what do you think about the black jerseys? I love the black jerseys once every couple of years. I think that's enough. I don't think there's any reason to wear them 2 or 3 times a year. I don't even really think there's a reason to wear them once a year. I think it should mean something when we do it. I think it should be special when we do it. I don't think it should be watered down by wearing them all the time. I think as long as we wear them once every 3 years, that would mean that every UGA player gets to wear them at least one time, even juniors that go pro after their junior year. So as long as we wear them once every 3 years, I'm happy. Yeah, I know Carolina Jackpot. I'm actually friends with him on Facebook too. And I watch some. I've watched some of his videos. I know he does the lottery thing on there too. When I catch his football videos, I do watch them. And yeah, obviously he hates Georgia. And I mean, I don't blame him. But he's okay. Joe Gator, how can I be a mod, a true loot? You are a true YouTube soldier, Joe. There you go, sir. You're now a mod. Don't abuse the privilege. Remember, mods mute people. And with the, that usually teaches them a lesson without having to boot them and block them. So, and you know what's not allowed here. Idiotic trolling like that idiot who just kept typing the letter L over and over again. No racial slurs, no gay slurs or homophobic slurs or, anything like that. We mute them, and if that doesn't teach them the lesson, then we block them. Other than that, pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, hover helmet, I will move you. In fact, I'm probably not even going to wait till Monday. I'll probably move you by the weekend. Go ahead and get you a good spot so you can see the TV. That's a good idea. Score prediction for the Natty, I'll do that probably this weekend. I'm not ready to give a score prediction quite yet. Donald Trump wants to know if I kneel for the national anthem. No, I don't. Donald Trump's coming to the game on Monday, by the way. I guess y'all heard that today. My face is right here where it always is, Thomas. I just turned the camera off. Remind me next time, Master Dreams, and I'll make you a moderator. I've already made 2 or 3 people moderators already tonight on top of the 5 or 6 I already had. So, but if you remind me next time, we'll mod you up. But anyway, I'm going to end this. This is way too long. For those of you that are still watching, you're troopers, and I appreciate it. But anyway, thanks for watching. Alabama beat Georgia tonight on the simulation 14-7. We'll try to do it again at least one more time before the game is actually played and see if we can't let Georgia even a series up at 1 game apiece. And then the real game on Monday night can be the tiebreaker. I'll have a video up tomorrow. Not sure yet what I'm doing, but I will have a video up for you tomorrow. Friday morning is the come get you some video, the hype and hate video. It's always pretty popular. And then we'll do a couple of videos this weekend too, including a score prediction. Anyway, y'all take it easy. I appreciate you watching. Subscribe to Uncle Lou if you're not already. Make you smarter and lower your cholesterol. Have a good morning.